Welcome, everybody. I am on the HanzofHarkir panel tonight. This should be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you're all doing well. But anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to go live into the chat, so let's go.
Wait, what was it? Did I like switch accents or something? Like,
no, you went. No, you just looked Nazi as
put a
fuck. I
stop
don't
to
know.
We got that new Hans political arc. You don't know what he's gonna do.
Oh my gosh, I was too
Hans-
mean. I'm ready.
You should get those really small glasses.
Oh yeah, where'd they go?
Your Harry Potter glasses?
Yeah, like
No, they have to be like small. Like, let me show you an example.
Small half moon.
Hans, I can't believe you don't have a sock in your Twitter profile by now.
Oh, I just, I don't want to give it to him. What like Vosh can unfollow me twice? Like, oh no, like what's he gonna do?
Funny.
Nah, it's just like I never like see a point like because my politics haven't changed. So it's like, do I need to like have like a new label? I don't care.
The typical reactionary talking point. My politics didn't change; the world changed around it.
I mean, no, it's more like my politics like are the same. They just end up grinding against people enough until I eventually made a lot of people very, very angry. But
Hans, you're not taking the himbo strategy that I endorse. All right, just
Dude.
don't know fuck all about anything, and therefore you can't like have a strong enough opinion to get in trouble.
Dude, okay, like again,
That's been my strategy for like 3 years now.
I mean, it's works for me, but like I cannot do that. Like I physically, like if I disagree with somebody, I have to say something.
Volume is
and
good.
it's like if I
Check,
don't,
check, 1,
I
2,
start
check,
getting
check, 1,
angry.
2.
That's why I choose not to know fuck about anything.
No, it's like
as Chud dabs and that's just Chud. That doesn't even
Hans,
register to
Hans,
me.
We already
look
lost.
Look what I sent you, Hans. That guy.
I am not that guy.
You look exactly like him with hair.
Put him in the chat. Put him in the Discord chat. Do it.
Okay.
Interesting. Who's this guy again? What Nazi is this?
He wasn't a Nazi. He was a Jew. He accidentally created. Well, not accidentally. He created Zyklon B, but before it was used as like a, the bad cast.
Cool.
It's in general discussion. I didn't know where to put it. So.
Oh my god! Why would you put it in general discussion?
You didn't tell me.
To the masses.
I meant like the Discord group chat. What is wrong?
Oh, of course.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Wait
it's whatever. Right. You can see it.
That's funny.
No,
I feel like the
very
masses
funny.
should be informed.
Right. 1 second. Gotta get this ready. I'm normally so much like quicker about this. Ration.
Unprofessional.
I know. I've been busy today, all right? Like I'm entertaining a guest. I've spent way too much time discoursing, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Does your guest know and approve of your happenings on right now?
Oh, I mean she's just
Streaming.
I kind of had to like explain the dynamics of like Twitch politics to my mom over beers today, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like she was like, that sounds
her face gets less and less like supportive as you go on.
Hans,
mean,
does your mom not watch your content?
She watches some of it. She doesn't like that I swear so much. She's a nice lady from the Midwest, all right? Like you can't you know. I don't want
I do explain Destiny and Vosh lore to my dad. That was an interesting conversation. So he could know what the video was about.
Wow, that sounds awful.
It was pretty funny.
I explain any of this to anyone in my family. It's awesome.
Did their eyes glaze over and just like discontent just fall upon their faces?
he seemed oddly interested. So I kept saying like, this is not interesting. You're not going to be interested. He's like, no, go on. It's pretty weird.
Please
That's so nice. I love supportive parents.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Okay.
explain online politics to my dad, and then just like after a while, he just took me into the garage and he made me sit down and he explained to me every single part of the car, like what it does, what it did, like how to repair it, and like you see, that's what that feels like. And so
Sigma dad.
So true.
Yeah, my dad knew that was a waste of time. Hopeless.
All right. I was gonna.
My dad barely understands when I talk about what I do in school. Like,
All
I
right.
just talk about whatever, and then don't talk that much. Every once in a while. Why don't you talk to your mom? That's what he says to me. That's usually what our conversations are. Why don't you call mom?
Kicking the can down the road. Sam, you can
Oh,
talk
man.
about Twitch
Classic
politics to
dad.
me, okay?
Classic dad move.
Not
Aw.
even emotionally available, all right? This is why we need more paternal, like, what, paternity leave? Because, like, otherwise, they won't have time to learn about, like, Twitch politics from Sam, all right? It's very important. Very, very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, someone should have told Matt Walsh that.
It's like, oh my god. Oh, what a fucking loser. All right, I put the link in chat. Everyone's welcome to retweet, give us the big plug, and we can now begin with the fun part of the debate. Everyone give me like a sound check really quick.
Check 1 2. Check.
Hell yeah. Copy, good buddy. Jangles?
Check. Checking. Checking it. Check.
All right, we can hear you, and you froze for a bit. I can see you again. Nice. All right, Lorenzo.
Hello.
Oof. All right, we got first Europeanoid here with us, and he's All right,
God
Sam,
damn it.
the best, the most well dressed person on the panel, with the exception of Chud Logic. All right, because we
Yeah.
know he's rocking like something underneath those nipples. Are those like TOS safe nipples, like in the avatar? Can we do that? Are we okay?
Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry
I'm
about it.
pretty sure the diameter of the areola falls within the required Twitch specifications of terms of service.
Tit Twitch specifications. I like it.
Twitch, yeah. Hit Twitch. So good. Hey, Sam, say something, buddy.
Hello, test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
All right. Chud.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Sounds just as terrible as I expected Burt Bunger to sound. All right. And then Doomer.
Hey, test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
Hell yeah. All right. So we are all in. We are pogging. Good. And so now we can begin with some excellent introductions. We're going to start with Biggs, then Jangles, then Lorenzo, then Sam, then Chud, and then finishing with Doomer. So who you are, where you're from. I mean, you don't have to say that. Don't dox yourself. Like who you are, what do you talk about, what do you care about, where people can find you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name's Biggs. You can find me at Biggs8500 on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I do Twitch panels. I do some gaming. I'm basically a center-right, kind of moderate libertarian, I guess is the best way to describe me. I don't really fit in any boxes specifically. I try to err on the side of freedom for the most part, but I love having these discussions, and I want to thank Hans for having me on today, and all the lovely panelists. I know most of you already, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Hell yeah, buddy. All right, Jangles, it's been a bit, but it's good to see you back, dude. How you been?
I've been wonderful. Thank you for having me on again. So, hello everyone. My name is Justin. I go by Jangles Science Light on the internet. I'm a lefty is about as accurate as I can make it. Lefty YouTuber. I do debates, and sometimes I do panels, and I do video essays that no one watches as much as the debates or panels. I got 3 videos on my channel about how comedy is evil, and we should all stop laughing about anything forever and ever. Me and Biggs, we know each other really well because we had this exact same topic yesterday. So I'm looking forward to the all round 2.
Dylan stealing my topics. I DM'd him, asked if he wanted to be on this panel. He never got back to me, but he stole my topic. Interesting question.
Typical.
All right, Lorenzo.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo, but I go by Nefarious Online. I'm a progressive streamer / content creator. I'm a sockdom / market socialist. When it comes to economics, I am an econ lord. I love discussing economics.
Looks like I'm going to get
And you can
ganged up
find me
on this
pretty much
panel
anywhere under the
tonight.
name Nefarious P, except Twitter.
I
which
think it's
is
going to be a
NEF
4/5v1 if you count Hans, but it should be a
Thanks
fun
so
one.
much for being here. Sam.
Thank you, Hans.
Hi, I'm Sam the Human. I run the Twitch Politics Discord with a couple other people in the community. You can find me around, usually moderating a bunch of other people's chats. I'm a mod in like Prime's community. I'm a mod here. I'm a mod in a couple other communities. You could again usually find me or contact me through Discord on Sam the Human or through Twitch Politics, which is discord.gg/Twitch Politics.
Oh yeah, buddy. Everyone join the link the Twitch Politics server in the chat at some point.
I did, yep.
Everyone, hell yeah. All right, everyone join that. There's a lot of great conversations in there. You can fight with a lot of people. You can get canceled by all different types of communities, so make sure you get in there. All right. A man who's been in his own hot water recently and an expert on canceling. Chud, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, hey Hans. Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Looking forward to getting into the topics here today without getting cancelled. Hopefully, we'll see.
We're all going down. You and me, every person. This is a sinking ship, and you're all tied to it.
Yep.
And then last but certainly not least, are the first person I've ever made an exception for because he apparently is so poor that he cannot afford a webcam or like an avatar or anything. But Doomer Politics. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, I
buddy.
guess
How
I'm
you
not the
doing?
only one.
Hey, pretty good. I'm Doomer Politics or Doomer Media. I have a YouTube channel where I just released a video about Chappelle and this whole situation. It's been very well received, very uplifting. No, I legitimately might have the worst like to dislike ratio on YouTube. It's fantastic.
How bad did it end up getting? I saw it literally this morning. What's the ratio like now?
I don't know. It was at 22%. It's pretty bad. The audience that came over from Sargon that liked the Vosh video did not like this one. That's fine.
It's 3 dislikes for every 1 like right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
They just hate free thinkers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny. The main argument they're making is like, people should be allowed to say anything. Nothing's offensive, but they all seem pretty triggered. So it's interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
I'm
I'm a
not.
stocked him. That's right.
So true. And if you don't know me, everybody, I am Twitch's newest Sockdom streamer. Having a great day. Completely zero change in my politics. Just my faith in people has been absolutely obliterated in the last 24 hours. But thank you all for joining me. Hi, Riley. Good to see you in chat. Everyone say hi to Riley. RGR in chat.
What up, Riley?
But we're going to have an amazing panel, amazing conversation, both on comedy, Chappelle, and if we get to it, Twitch and the power structures of this platform in a bit. So get ready. We're going to jump right into it with our first topic after I read the rules. I almost forgot myself there. I'm not going to do it again. It's been 2 weeks. I'm a little bit out of practice. I didn't do a panel last week because I was moving to my amazing new apartment. All my new digs. So everyone, Cherry, if you're there, I promise I'm not poor. Look at this banger pad I have, all right? I'm living here by myself. It's so good. I got anime art on the walls. It's so good, all right? Anyway, our discussion format is as such. Every person gets a 1-minute uninterrupted intro and outro for each topic, and after that, we'll use a hand list system. Chud, can you raise your hand with that avatar or no?
Yeah, I can. I'll tell you what I can do. Listen, I won't need to raise my hand anyway, but this is what I'll do. Okay.
That's perfect.
Yes.
I'll also do that when I get a good dunk in, so it might be confusing.
I was like, he just talked, but he wants to talk again. Very interesting. No, that's good. All right, so that's good. And then Doomer, just do the DM. Don't DM me anything else during this, so I can only see like the pop-ups when you want to talk. So after that, Gish Galloping is bad. We call this the Rob Nor, although I'm also changing to the HanzofHarkir and Demon Mama rule. So keep your speaking time for each instance to under 2 minutes at a time, aside from intros and outros. And I'll give you a signal at 90 seconds. I don't have the fucking cue cards with me here right now. I'll rig something up in the next like 30 seconds to figure it out. I'll give you a signal at 30 seconds, maybe like a little bit of hey, or and then I'll give you another signal like I'll call you crazy when there's 10 seconds left or something like that, just so you know how much time you have left. And then at 2 minutes, I'll either like tell you to finish your point. If you're almost done, I'll scream at you or I'll mute you, whatever I feel like doing. And then interruptions. Please don't interrupt people while they're explicitly talking unless they're saying something so horrible that it will damage the fabric of the internet if you let them continue. So we haven't had that happen yet, but I am excited to see if the first time someone tries to do that. I'm very excited. So just wait until they finish their point and say, I have a quick response while I'm throwing it to the next person on the list. So you can't be on the list more than once. But if someone calls you out, if someone says, yo, Sam might be dapper, but his opinions are dumb as shit, he gets a full 2 minutes to respond regardless of where he is on the list. I will only be moderating, so everybody have no fear. No one will be canceled because of my takes tonight, unless I'm still tweeting on Twitter. I'm not going to do that. I promise. I mostly promise. I can't guarantee. I'm having a lot of fun. But I will not be participating in this specific conversation. I hope all of our panelists have at least watched the special or read the after effects of it. But our first topic of the evening is the recent comedy special by Dave Chappelle has made many question the nature of comedy, canceling, and how as a society we should respond to things like this. What, if anything, is worth canceling someone over, and did Chappelle meet that threshold here? how does this relate to the concept of comedy? And there could be many thresholds in which you consider something as cancel worthy. It could be being really mean to a anarchist lady in a debate. It could like potentially threaten to spell out the N-word and read it out on stream. There's lots of different thresholds for cancellation here. So
Oh yes.
we are going to start. Let me do a little bit of randomization here really quickly. We are going to start with Chud, then Jangles, then Sam, then Biggs, then Nefarious, and then finishing with Doomer, and then going in the opposite direction for our closing statement. So 1 minute on the clock for your opener. Chud, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so I mean, just to get into the meat of it, I guess. What, if anything, is it worth cancelling someone over? I think, to be honest with you, generally what we find, it depends what we mean by cancelling, but people tend to only really truly be cancelled for being a pedo. If you really think about it. You know, even other bad forms of social transgression, people can kind of come back from to a degree. You know, I mean, even Arcadum, for example, was just streaming on Twitch the other day, so you know he remains somewhat uncancelled. But yeah, so I think that broadly speaking, we use cancel very broadly to describe lots of different things. But if you actually look at the meat and potatoes of what that actually means and who actually gets cancelled, I think that actually far less people actually get cancelled than we claim get cancelled. In terms of in terms of how this relates to the concept of comedy, I think there's a lot of catastrophic and pearl-clutching takes in regards to this. I think, broadly speaking, we as a society are free to make whatever jokes we want. You know, and certainly, I think at the higher echelon of comedy, if you've got performers that are performing live, I think we're in a far better situation today than we were, say, 70, 80 years ago, where comedians were literally being arrested for telling jokes under obscenity laws. So, yeah, in terms of Dave Chappelle, I'm not really certain as to whether he should be cancelled for this. I mean, I don't really think so. I think he's a comedian, but I can see why people are angry. People are voicing their frustration. It's important that we don't conflate what is critique and criticism, or even maybe more rigorous situations, with cancelling and the end of comedy and so on. So that's my basic take.
Thank you, Chud. I was making the cards. I didn't want to interrupt you, so we're just going to give everyone else the same amount of time for their opening statement as I gave you. So everyone gets 100 seconds as opposed to 60. Now that I have the cue, no, it's okay. Now that I have the cue cards and I can like adequately demonstrate like when it's time for you, how much time you have left. Hopefully, we can have a bit more of a ring on that. But don't worry at all. All right, Jangles, 100 seconds on the clock. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, so yes, Dave Chappelle should be canceled. In fact, all comedians should be canceled. All stand-up should be canceled for the rest of time because none of you motherfuckers know how to talk about comedy on this goddamn platform. Until we can figure out how to like talk about jokes and talk about comedy, no more. You don't get any more. No one's allowed to laugh anymore. Based on what I've seen, like how the takes on Twitter, comedy is the only medium where the less you know about it, the more qualified you feel to make a strong opinion on it. All right, so. It is worth talking about like the purpose of comedy. It's worth talking about like how jokes are constructed because what I've seen so far, like the defenses of Dave Chappelle have been like, oh, it's just a joke. Oh, that's just a point of the joke. Like, no, motherfucker, that's not an analysis. That's a weak ass like defense of like shit that you don't want to look further into. Now, the thing that's going to get me canceled is that I actually don't think it's the worst, most offensive special I've ever seen. All right, it's not incredibly transphobic. There were some good points in there, but there were sections of it that were absolutely transphobic, rooted in stereotype, rooted in these like harmful opinions that are being put forth. So I fucking love stand-up comedy. That's why none of you deserve it as much as I do. I love it. I just wish that like it wouldn't be this. Like we should treat it with the respect it deserves, and say that it's worth looking into jokes, all right? Because jokes are conveying information just like any other form of statement. All right, we raise the bar for what is acceptable in jokes, but that doesn't mean that they're not subject to any sort of criticism whatsoever. And we can look at like what a joke actually means without like destroying it, just like any other form of art criticism.
Thank you so much, Jangles. All right, Sam.
Yeah. So I think that like some of the things that Jangle said rings true. That like when I watched this special, which I watched it today, it was probably not the most offensive special I've seen. There were a couple jokes in there that I thought were relatively more offensive than like what I heard from people who were defending it. And I relative for myself, I only laughed at one joke in the entire special. we could talk about like what humor is and the philosophy behind humor and language philosophy and all this stuff that I'm sure Jangles would love to talk about because he wants to talk about what is humor and what isn't. And we could look into what is and what isn't, and now whether or not he should be canceled. I don't know. This is like a more complicated thing about whether or not art, and even bad art, should be something that is worth canceling for, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sam. All right, Biggs.
Yeah, so to follow up what Jangle said, like we had a discussion about this the other day, and I actually watched the special again today with my wife, and I watched some of Dave's other specials, knowing that we're going to have these conversations. And what I actually got as the more I watched this, I think I watched it a total of 3 times. Is like I think that Dave specifically actually does care about these issues. He really does. I don't think he's going out there attacking people to attack people. He attacks everybody on the absurdities of people's views on society. So he does make some bad jokes in the special. I will agree with that. They may not have been in the best taste or even the best thought out and structured jokes. But I believe that Dave is trying to come across as being the person that's stepping from the outside looking in and kind of analyzing how these different communities are functioning and how they're progressing in society. And again, I watched the special again today. I really felt like it wasn't nearly as bad. I don't think we should cancel people in general. Personally, I think that people should be able to say whatever they want to say. But I do think we need to have a conversation about like what's appropriate to platform and things like that. I know Twitch has a huge issue with this. People are always constantly talking about platforming, who we should platform, who we shouldn't. My personal view is we should put as many people out there to have as many ideas out there as possible. The best way to combat bad speech or bad jokes or anything like that is better and more clever speech, clever jokes, and just getting everybody's views out there so we know and we can move on and we can have these nuanced conversations.
Thank you, Biggs. All right, Nefarious.
Okay. So I generally support like the free marketplace of ideas. I generally agree with Biggs when it comes to like the best thing to defeat bad speech with is is good speech. However, there are definitely some certain ideas which can be combated with good speech because the only reason why they get so popular is because they're so rhetorically efficient. We can see this from like the alt right in certain situations. Secondly, I don't believe cancellation is just when you tell people to stop watching a person. I feel like to be properly canceled, you have to have like income that gets hurt or like sub count gets like very hurt, like again with Arcadum and stuff like that, streaming and stuff like that. I don't think he was like truly canceled. I think cancellation is needed when it comes to this dangerous speech that you can't combat with good speech. I don't think this necessarily applies to Dave Chappelle. My main issue is that Dave Chappelle could be transphobic, depends how you define transphobia. He did say some certain things like gender and sex are the same, or you have to go through a woman's legs to be born, stuff like that, which could be problematic, or which I think are problematic. Another dangerous aspect of this is Poe's law. So it's basically when you deliver something in a satirical way, an ironic statement in a satirical way, and someone doesn't take it with satire and kind of mistakes it for an unironic claim. So yeah, the main issue is people taking ironic statements as a unironically.
So I find that it's
Which means that if Dave
interesting
Chappelle could have delivered these same jokes, but like
because
said he wasn't transphobic or proven he wasn't transphobic in a certain way, I don't think it would have been as bad.
I don't think people that are
Thank you so much,
transphobic are out there
Nefarious.
saying
All
they're
right.
transphobic. I mean, that was
Doomer,
part
you
of
have
what
the last opening
Dave was
statement.
trying to
Everyone
make the
else, you're welcome to
absurdity.
start raising your hands for the general. We're going to go for about 40 to 45 minutes. If we have to go longer for it, if people want to keep talking about it, we can do that. So, Doomer, 100 seconds on the clock. Everyone, feel free to start raising your hands for the general. Go ahead.
Hey, so as far as I can tell, there's two different kinds of canceling. There's sort of a social pressure and then like a force. I don't think it's anywhere close to the bar that I would need to like forcefully cancel him, but I think it's clearly past the level where like applying social pressure makes sense. A lot of the comments are in very poor taste. Sort of the ultimate thing I think is that a lot of the special is sort of cruel, and the fact that it's cruel makes it not funny. Like it's clearly not done as well as some of his other specials. I think that's partially because she's kind of cruel. That means that it's not funny. And generally speaking, Chappelle seems to be pretty uneducated on these things. It's pretty embarrassing that he seems to have done less research for this enormous comedy special that I do for YouTube videos. So, that's pretty embarrassing. Yeah, that's basically my take.
Thank you so much. All right. Right now, our list is Sam. So, we're going to start in the general and let's get going. see you,
Yeah,
Jangles.
something I think that's interesting is that during the special, Chappelle goes on this tangent about how.
Oh wait, sorry. 1 second before you go, Sam. Just making sure everyone has seen the special, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Just making sure.
Yeah,
Hell
he
yeah.
goes on this tangent about how the all of his jokes are actually to criticize whiteness and the position in which whiteness plays in having minorities attack each other, and that by having the minorities attack him for making these jokes, it's actually keeping white people in their place. He doesn't say that in all those words, but that's kind of his way of shielding himself from the critique. And I think that like talking about what Doomer Politics said, where most of the jokes in special were very cruel. I think that specifically doesn't allow that critique to be held up. I think that the critique here of like talking about how whiteness whiteness perpetuates this like minority on minority infighting is an interesting idea. But like I think that the harmfulness of the jokes in this special kind of take away from that.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Jangles. Muted.
All right, so I've actually thought Biggs brought up a good point. Like he's making comments about society, but a lot of those comments might not ring true for people. And this actually does matter in comedy. Like to make a funny joke, you have to like you're established or you're entrenched in social norms. All right, so if the audience doesn't agree with the norms that you're setting up, or they don't agree with the premise of the joke, the punchline isn't going to land because you're not
What's up,
violating the right
Buckeye?
things in order for the punchline to land. So it's very, very important that
Yeah, he did a
like
little
if
bit
the
about
premise of your joke is flawed or at least
about
needs more
making
information
it
or
sound
is
like, you know, if
lacking
they're
key
gay,
information or is
they'll
wrong
be a
about certain
minority till
information,
they need to
just
be white
anything
again.
after that cannot be perceived as funny because in the back of your head you're going to be like, well, that's kind of wrong. So I'm going to give an example of an edgy joke that is not going to violate TOS. Okay, so here's an edgy joke. It's not going to violate TOS. I promise. All right, because we're speaking about cancellation. Did y'all know that Lens Crafters actually just dropped Dan Crenshaw as one of their spokespeople? Yeah, they had to drop him because everyone kept expecting their glasses to be half off. Let's analyze that joke for a second. Didn't land. Let's analyze that joke for a second, okay?
Dan
All right, so you have to know who Dan Crenshaw is.
Crenshaw.
You have to know what lens correctors is. There are people who don't know what lens correctors is, so you have to be familiar with both those concepts. You have to know that Dan Crenshaw is missing an eye. Now, there's information else there. He got that injury, if I'm not mistaken, as as a veteran. Like he got that injury as a veteran in service. Okay, so there are people who can find that funny or not funny for a bunch of different reasons, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I know. Jangles likes to
Instead of
analyze the
analyzing what the
comedy without
comedian meant,
saying
let's
much. I
analyze
know. It's
why
kind of
the
ridiculous,
audience
but
found that
it's fun.
funny. All right, you might like dark humor. We're making fun of an injury. We're making fun of a war veteran. Fuck, that's edgy as all fuck. That's super dark. Let's do it. Hell yeah, we're not allowed to do that. You might find it funny because you hate Dan Crenshaw and you want to shit on him as much as fucking possible. And you just fucking hate Dan Crenshaw. Fuck Dan Crenshaw. Fuck. And so you might find that funny because now we're making fun of him for something big. And you might not find that funny because like
Excuse
you
me.
know people or you're personally invested in like wounded veterans and stuff like that. And that's a very valid reason to not find it funny because that's what your personal investment is. None of these perspectives are correct in why they might find it funny or not funny, but all of them are worth investigating. All of them are worth analyzing because they can tell us something about what the joke receiver is experiencing. And I think that's as important or more important than what the joke teller meant.
Thank you, Jangles. We're gonna throw it to Nefarious.
Okay, I hate to be that guy, but let's I'm gonna kind of ride on what Jangles was saying, and we're gonna look at comedy theory for a second. Now there are three prevalent ideas to why we find something funny. There's superiority theory, there's relief theory, and there's incongruity theory. Superiority theory is you're essentially laughing at how I guess you can be superior in a certain situation or joke, or other people are inferior. You have relief theory, which is basically just like the release of tension or pent up emotion. And you have incongruity theory, which is like joke is going one way and there's an incongruence. So like at the end or like at the punchline of the joke, it goes like some complete other way. Like Dave Chappelle did this when he was talking about like jumping off the roof and stuff. This TOS, but
Expert in
there we go.
everything.
Robloxing off a small building.
The one I like is benign violation theory. Like all those theories are great. Benign violation theory is my favorite. The
What's benign violation?
Benign violation theory is kind of like a combination of all three of those. So it's basically like you have to violate a norm of some sort, and simultaneously, as you are recognizing that norm has been violated, you recognize the violation as benign. So there's a lot of ways that can be interpreted, like what makes it benign, what norm has been violated, what context are you in, how many drinks have you had, and stuff like that. Like, all of these
Yeah.
things matter, and I like it because it's a joke receiver point of view, and that's way more interesting and important.
So you can discuss topics as like about like trans people or gay people, whatever communities, in certain ways that can still be funny, even if that's like the main part of the joke, and not be like
Maybe he does do
transphobic
open
or
mic
whatever
nights.
blankphobic. And this is kind of like by I think avoiding superiority theory. I think that's like the worst one when it comes to comedy theory, especially joking about like community certain communities and stuff like that. Like saying you're superior to trans people or to gay people because they're like lesser than you and stuff like that is definitely transphobic or homophobic. But I feel like you can use like incongruent theory or relief theory in jokes without making them transphobic or homophobic.
Yeah. Thank you, Nefarious. Biggs.
Yeah, so I'm not an expert on the theory behind comedy, but one thing I do know is that one of the most fundamental things in comedy is being relatable, right? And being relatable to as many people as possible to try to make sure that those things that you're saying are hitting well, right? And I think that now, while I don't necessarily think anybody on this panel would agree with some of the things you said about specifically the trans community, but I think that he's coming from a place where he's trying to make it understandable for the people that have, like you guys said, he didn't do much research. I bet he did a lot of research, but he understands that the majority of people don't understand these communities at all. And I think he's honestly trying to get a better understanding for these communities. And he's actually had, in the special, he talks about a friend that he had and stuff like that. But one thing that really struck me this last time I watched it was that their whole point was like, we're going through this human experience together, and everybody has their own experience, but you shouldn't take away or negate what these experiences are. But I think has a little bit of envy and jealousy from the Black community because he sees this other minority community doing so much better in a quicker time frame that might be part of the reason why he's being attacked and why he feels like he needs to be pushing back against that. No, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with all the jokes. And as I've watched it, I think it's pretty good. The special was pretty good. It wasn't his best for sure. I personally like his older stuff, like what is it? Killing Him Softly. That's probably my favorite special of his. But I don't think that this hate and this wanting to cancel him is actually well placed. I think it's people trying to see this and and trying to make it like Chud said about clutching the pearls and trying to make a big deal out of something that's not quite there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Biggs. All right, we're going to Doomer, then Nefarious, then Chud.
What's up,
and then to
everybody?
Jangles. So go ahead, Doomer.
Yeah, so really quickly about the education thing, he seems to have generally speaking been confused as to why people find his jokes offensive. So that's part of the reason why I wonder how much he actually knows about these subjects, in addition to like the conflating gender and sex and
I don't
stuff
think
like
that's
that.
true.
I mean, I got a pretty strong read that he didn't know what he was talking about, and it's something that a lot of feedback that I got was people were saying, well, it's very clear what his message wanted to be. It wasn't clear at all to me what his message wanted to be. I legitimately have no idea what his takes on trans issues are.
You didn't watch the show and
It's
understand
very
it.
confusing. And the reason I raised the hand was actually just to ask: does anyone here think that Netflix should take it down? Because I don't think anyone has that opinion. But
No.
No.
Cool. All right. We're going to throw it now to Doomer. Are you finished?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to throw it to Nefarious.
Okay, so generally, I don't think Dave Chappelle was being bad faith. I don't think he was being like purposely transphobic. So I do agree with you there, Biggs. I think his main problem is like a lack of education when it comes to a certain topic and like general shit we see like other people complain about, like pronouns. I can swear, right? Sorry, Hans. I'm just double checking.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so pronouns being forced onto him and stuff like that, which is also like fucking stupid, but again, comes from a lack of education. And I completely agreed with what Doomer said. I don't think most people understand where or what the point of the jokes were, what his messaging behind it was, which again plays into Poe's law, and I think that's why it could be dangerous.
All right. Thank you, Nefarious. All right, we're throw it now to Chud.
Okay, so listen, everyone was really mad at Dave Chappelle, okay, and going on Twitter and stuff about it. Honestly, I think that like what people should have done is just made racist jokes about Dave Chappelle I think that would have been the best response to all of this. But unfortunately, people were kind of on their moral high horse. I think you fight fire with fire. So fight bigotry with bigotry, crack up the racist jokes, and yeah, that's absolutely the best way to tackle this. And I'm sad I didn't see more racism in response to Dave Chappelle's own forms of bigotry.
So, in the words of the illustrious and infamous Infrared, I can be way more racist than you. I can be a million times more racist. I can be so much more transphobic than you. It's fucking over for you guys. All right, I see you, Nefarious. We're gonna go Jangles, Sam, Biggs, and then back to Nefarious.
I don't know if
Nefarious,
that.
did you want to like? Wait, sorry. Did you call on me next?
Yeah, you Jangles.
All right, Nefarious, did you want to like do a quick response to that?
Oh, so yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say I don't know if you're being ironic, but I don't think like fighting with fire is the best thing in this situation.
Why not? That's
That's so
it seems
funny.
fairly obvious to me. The best thing to do.
I don't know if you're being ironic.
Okay.
Fucking playing into my
Alright, so-
autism.
Does anyone want to agree? By show of hands, how do people feel about Chud's proposed fight fire with more racism theory?
Yeah, of
Biggs.
course, Biggs.
All right.
Yes, let's go.
All right.
Depending
Red
on the
Brown
context.
Alliance.
Depending on the
I love
context,
Chud, so I
like-
gotta agree with whatever he says.
I was
Sorry.
listening to stand up earlier today, and someone suggested like, okay, we need to have like a bigoted speakeasy. All right, everyone just goes in secret to this place. You knock on the door, you say a slur, they let you in, and you get it all out.
That's what private's for, right? Like, you know, like you.
What about
Alright.
like the purge, but with speech? You can literally say whatever
So
you
you
want.
can
for
say whatever
24
you want.
hours.
You
No
can't get canceled, it doesn't
cancellations.
count.
Nothing. Yeah.
Okay. I had a real point, but but I don't know. I'm digging that now. My real point is that like you don't have to know a lot about a topic in order to make good, like responsible comedy out of it. In fact, sometimes that can play to your advantage. Like your lack of knowledge on a topic, highlighting that lack of knowledge and like subverting things can work. Like I thought Dave Chappelle made a pretty good transphobic defense of like the bathroom laws in North Carolina being stupid. He made a transphobic defense of like why trans people should be allowed into bathrooms. And that comes from now that is a pro-trans argument, but done from a transphobic premise that could relate to people who aren't on board with trans people, like to get them to like see, oh wait, maybe my concerns are overblown. So it can work in that way, but in other ways, like the lack of knowledge really fucking hurts. Like when you're setting up a premise and it's like you're stating things that you want to be perceived as true. You're not just saying like, oh, I'm transphobic and I think trans people should be in bathrooms. But if you're like describing J.K. Rowling's letter or you're describing like trans people just make up words to win arguments, well then, especially to, like to the community hearing those, that's going to fall flat because the premise isn't going to ring true for us. Like none of the LGBT, like that, and like one other joke, like LGBT joke, I thought was funny. The rest of them were like Family Guy 2004 tier dog shit. And you know why? Because there's shit that I've been hearing for 20 years. I do not. Dave Chappelle billed himself as possibly the greatest of all time, and this motherfucker is making jokes that I thought were old 15 years ago, and it has nothing to do with being offended. It's just like, how are you? If I know exactly,
Wasn't
the
even
second
a
you bring
thing
up a
15 years
lesbian,
ago, so like
exactly
it
where
just
you're gonna
doesn't
go
make
with that joke,
sense.
that's a bad joke. It doesn't matter if I'm offended or not. It matters because it gets old.
All right. Nefarious, did you have like a quick response to like your?
Yeah, I just want to say, you touched
Also,
on
like before, when you say that, just like as I'm throwing it, just say quick response. You don't have to like whatever this is. I don't know if you're just like extra excited to
I'm
raise your
friggin'
hand.
out,
Like
okay?
I know Chud can do that because his avatar, but like you don't have to do it too. All right.
I'm not
like,
a VTuber, okay? I've got to compensate.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say, yeah, it completely destroys comedy because especially if you rely on things like incongruency theory and stuff like that, it's not an incongruency when you know where it's going to end up. So that like defeats the whole joke. But yeah, you're completely right.
Can I get a quick response in there too, real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have an example, Jangles, of one of the ones that you're talking about was 2004 tier dog shit? I just wanted
Sure.
an example, just so you can help me understand.
Now, I thought a feminist. Now, I looked up what the definition of a feminist was, and apparently, it's someone who thinks that men and women should be equal. Now, what I thought a feminist was
Yep.
was an ugly slur.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
The second he said, now I looked up the definition of feminist. It was in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
head.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly those words, or at least the
Okay, I just
exactly
wanted to get what you were thinking of because I kind of felt the same way with that one. I wanted to see what your take on that was.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was not a lot of these topics, and maybe not that one specifically, but especially with the transgender topics, like that's relatively new. So like,
Here's a new
I was
rule,
just curious.
okay? Here's a new rule. All right, we should cancel any comedian. If Family Guy made the same joke in 2004, you're canceled. You're done. You're not allowed to make any joke ever again. Not even in
I
private.
second that.
I feel like we all kind of agree, like on this topic, really broadly speaking, right? Does anyone have any like? Is there a spicy take we could throw out there?
I
Do you know
have
what I mean?
something. I have a little bit.
Go on,
but-
Biggs. Let's have it.
So I want to say, so like I said before, I think maybe I just have this completely wrong, but I think I'm the complete opposite of what you guys are saying about this, like this knowledge thing. I think Dave did probably a lot of looking into these things, because if you listen to the special, there's a few times where he literally stops himself and he's like, "Oh, I'm in trouble now." So he's like, "I'm in trouble now." It's like he knows what he's like trying to do. He's trying to push the buttons, right? But one of the funniest jokes, just real quick, one of the funniest jokes that I think, and this one maybe you guys might think this is lowbrow, low tier, but my funniest laugh in the whole thing was when he says, the guy's like, "They're after you, Dave," and he's like, one day or many days. And I was like, and I know this is low hanging fruit, but I just was like, yeah, I can relate to that, because this is something I never really thought about before the whole movement, right? So like, and I can relate to that, and I understand like the whole reasoning behind that and all that, and I'm all for like people having whatever pronouns they want to have, but like from like a person who's not ingratiated into this space, I mean, you have to understand, like, we're all like hyper sensitive to like these political topics and stuff like that, but to like the regular people that are Netflix subscribers, like, you have to remember he's relating to those people. And I honestly think, especially with the story at the end with his friend, like, I think he does care, and I think that I know it's maybe not be the best positive light, but I do think he's raising these issues to people that would not necessarily be exposed to these issues if it weren't for that, right? Now, maybe he doesn't do it in the best way or the way that everybody likes, but I think that at least he's bringing that to the fold in a way that people can laugh at and people can enjoy, and do it in a way that's not making people feel bad and making people, uncomfortable with, these issues.
But hang on a sec, didn't he misgender his friend?
At the very end, he did, but that was how he was setting it up. And he put at the end, he said he was the best. He was a hell of a woman, right? That's what he said at the end. Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like someone that's well educated, because misgendering can have a profound impact on a trans person. And yeah, I don't know if that really demonstrates a high level of education on the topics, to be honest. But
Yeah, really quick,
That's just
he misgenders people at least 3 times. I think it might be as high as 5. It wasn't just
there's a
once.
couple times.
Okay. Sam's been waiting very patiently. We're gonna throw it to Sam, then to Nefarious, who's also like been doing something back there. So to Sam, then Nefarious, then Jangles, then Doomer. All right,
So
go
I
ahead,
have a couple
Sam.
things. I have a couple things I want to respond to. Doomer brought up the fact that like it was very hard to tell what the point of his humor was, and I think that this is like interesting to me because again, there was literally a point in the special where he had the aside talking about, if you go back and look at all my specials, it's always about white people. Everything's about white people. Everything's about how I hate white people. He specifically has an aside in this special talking about the purpose, like the hidden purpose of what his comedy is supposed to be. Now, I think that if people are having a hard time even understanding when he does an aside like that, you can probably tell that his jokes are not hitting. Now, to respond to Biggs, I think that like there is a lot of humor in here to me that I felt like I was watching like an anti-SJW video from 2016, 2015. Like, it may not be like Family Guy tier, but like YouTube comedians have been making these jokes since 5-6 years, and like to me none of this was new. The only joke I laughed at was actually the bathroom, the transphobic bathroom defense, and it was because it was a callback to earlier to the DaBaby joke, and I didn't really laugh at much else in the entire special. I laughed because I didn't think he was going to make a callback to the DaBaby joke, and that was really it for me. I think that was everything that I needed to respond to. So
All right, Biggs, you're welcome to respond. You can have a brief like 2-minute back and forth if you need to.
No, I'm good. I mean, I appreciate that. So, I do want to, I don't know if you want to get into this, Hans, though. I know people have others to say, but I want to get into the Netflix, the backlash on Netflix and their employees. I think that's is a very good issue that maybe we can kind of shift towards. I don't want to take over your show, Hans, but I just think that we kind of all
that was the important thing that was part of the cancellation process. And if no one brought it up, I was going to. And as Chud said, it's getting a little bit stale. So specifically, we talked about cancellation and what qualifies as cancellation. Like, does it mean like you have no platform anymore? Does it mean you like took a substantial financial hit? Does it mean that people just don't want to interact with, or some people don't want to interact with you anymore? Does it mean you lose your job? So as far as someone can feel free to correct me, there have been at least one individual from Netflix who has lost their job because of their like criticisms of like the Dave Chappelle special. And so is that person more canceled than Chappelle? And is Chappelle honestly canceled at all right now as regards to the fallout
To be clear,
from
yeah,
this?
I just want to clear that up. I think the person that was actually fired was fired due to possibly leaking information, confidential information.
Yes.
Now, whether or not that was actually true, or if it's just the company trying to cover their asses with like reasonable, I think that was the case. Again, I don't know for sure, but that's what I read. And Nefarious is shaking his head like that he agrees. He thinks that's
well,
true.
I mean, the problem you've got is companies will often come up with reasons for
Reasons,
getting
yeah.
rid of someone, right?
And we already have
and it's
an instance of them like lying, like this a woman barged into a meeting that she wasn't invited to, and that's why she was suspended. But no, she didn't. One, you
Wait.
don't barge into Zoom meetings. Like, how do you barge into a Zoom meeting? You click a link. Is that barging now? And she was given the link.
That was a
previously.
different person, actually.
I know there's a different
Okay,
person,
okay.
but
I
that's
just,
an
yeah,
in-
yeah.
but that's an instance of
Right.
Netflix. Like, it
And-
seems that they were fabricating a reason that she was
All
suspended.
right, all right.
Yeah.
One second. We're gonna throw it to yeah, never mind. I appreciate this, like trying to keep it like slightly orderly. And we're gonna throw it to Nefarious, and then right now we have Nefarious, then Jangles, and then Doomer, and then Chud. I know you want to get in, so I'll put you and then Biggs on the list as well. So go ahead, Nefarious.
I assume there were more than just like one or two Netflix employees. Like, I mean, there's a whole walkout. So I don't think Netflix like necessarily fired these people. You could for these reasons. You could make the argument that they might have like done this at the beginning to like stop this from like taking off, but I generally don't think so. Also, I want to say watch Ricky Gervais. He's like way better than Dave Chappelle.
True.
Or Bill Burr.
True.
Like,
No,
like,
Ricky
Bill,
Gervais is better.
Bill Burr is like my guilty pleasure comedian, and he doesn't. Yeah. But anyway. All right, Jangles, go ahead.
My point was from earlier, but I'll try to tie it back into the cancellation stuff. I actually thought the entire like end of the special where he was talking about his friend was fucking gross. Because one, that wasn't his friend. He did not know this person very well. Like if you talk to like her actual like friends that are very close to her, and even like if from context clues of the special, he did not know this person very well. This was someone that he met once or twice, and it was to me, it was very, very clear he was using her as a shield. I have my trans friend. My trans friend would have loved my terrible joke about her Robloxing herself. She would have minded me misgendering her at the end. And so, I can't be transphobic because I have the trans friend. To me, it was transparent and really fucking gross. And at the end, the thing that everyone says is like super sweet, that like, oh, we need to recognize the humanity in everybody. You've set the bar so low that you can fucking ice skate over it, okay? Recognize the humanity in everyone. You don't get credit for that. That's bare minimum shit. Like if I were to say like
Oh
British
man.
people are subhuman, worthless cretins with terrible food and they can't even show their face on camera.
Fuck is
Instead they have to
this?
wear a top hat with their V2
Fuck you,
ass out.
bitch.
Based.
Motherfucker. If I said that, but wait, but they're still people. And at the end of the day, we have to recognize everyone's humanity. What the fuck? That's softening the bigotry. If anything, that makes people more comfortable with being bigoted because, like, well, at the end, they're all humans, all right? They're all humans. I just think their skull shape is all wrong, and that they need to be locked up in camps. Like, they're all humans, though. At the end of the day, like that. If anything, that makes it worse. And I can see how a Netflix employee who is trans doesn't want to like work for a company who is profiting off of narratives, and they are narratives. Comedy is fucking important. Everybody's talking about the Chappelle special. It's inspired conversation. We can't pretend they're just jokes, especially in this instance. But I can see how a trans employee is like, no, I'm not going to help you fucking like profit off of this. Well, you tried to profit. You're at a net loss right now. You paid $24 million for the special, and you haven't made that back yet. So you tried to profit off of it anyway. Done.
Oh fuck! One second. Sorry. God dang it. There's another Sorry, one second. There's one of my mods in chat. Can you just ban like that account? Again, someone's like
You're not
harassing
actively
Riley.
in the chat. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll ban them at some point. Sorry about that, everybody. All right. Yeah. Doomer, go ahead.
Yeah, just to go off what Jangles just said, it's actually worse than that because after doing the whole I have a black friend thing, he goes on to make his point. He tries to say empathy is a two-way road, and what he's getting at there is you guys need to have empathy for me. He doesn't seem to have any willingness to have empathy for the people that might have an issue. In fact, in a previous special, this is in my video, like he reads out this whole letter where someone, a trans person, sent him a letter that was a fan of his, and told them how they had gotten upset by his jokes, and he read that on stage and then said it made him feel bad. He didn't like it. He didn't like that it made people feel bad, and then he just tells the joke that made them feel bad. So like he's not he doesn't have any empathy for the people he might be upsetting, but he wants other people to have empathy for him. And then he says, "Stop punching down on my people," meaning comedians. So with the idea being like
Quick
trans people
response.
have more power than us. Yeah.
I think that was incorrect. I think he meant black people, not comedians.
I mean, it was in the context of like him and Kevin Hart, and I mean, maybe it's black
It was
people.
set up so poorly, it could be read either way.
That's how
Doesn't
I
matter
read
what-
it. That's how I read it personally.
Well, it doesn't matter what he
Well, no,
meant,
I
it was
understand, but
set up
I
so
think
poorly.
that's what he meant. But I mean, we can all
Plus,
have our
as
own
a last
interpretation.
joke in a special, that was shit. God.
No, I agree.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, Chud. No, you can't. We're
Okay.
silencing Britbongers, right? You're canceled. Sorry, motherfucker.
Okay.
It's over.
Put a G in the box.
The first thing I want to do is just say something, okay? I've spoken at length about cancel culture as a social phenomenon and how it's a thing that happens and it tends to affect working class people more so than rich, wealthy celebrities. One thing that really pisses me off is you've got these components of fucking Twitter leftoid idiots, and they'll deny to the blue in the face the existence of cancel culture. It isn't real, blah, blah, blah. But then when something comes along that fits their narrative, i.e., a trans person getting fired from Netflix, all of a sudden cancel culture is not only real, but they're going on Twitter about how, oh, why is no one talking about this? It's like, bitch, you fucking said for the last year cancel culture isn't real. This is bullshit. Fuck you. The second point I want to make is, yeah, I don't trust Netflix to honestly report on the reason they fired someone, especially when that person is involved in some form of worker organizing, as was the case with this story. So this person was organizing a walkout as a protest over the Dave Chappelle stuff. I'm not for Netflix removing it or something like that, but I think that as an employee of a company, if you're unhappy with action they're taking, regardless of what it is, you are well within your rights to protest that in any way you see fit. And also on top of that, I think that it sets a dangerous precedent if you are supporting or in any way saying this is fine. They might have leaked
don't
personal
know about
data,
that.
fuck them, whatever. Like Netflix to a private company. I think that's ridiculous, especially if you're a lefty. You should be, regardless of what your perspective.
Yeah,
on it
maybe
is,
Buckeye. I took it
standing
as
up for
black
the
people,
right
not comedians.
of
But
people to
I don't know.
protest. What
Maybe
the
I
companies
was
are doing.
incorrect.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Chud. Does anyone have a specific response to that before we throw it to Biggs?
No, based.
All right. Yeah. All right, Biggs, take it away, buddy.
So I'll kind of talk about what Chud just said there. So I agree with you that sometimes companies will manufacture types of information, but I think something like this, where like especially the person that was actually fired was due to possible leaking of information, confidential information. So I think either A, the case is that it was true that this person did leak it, or if it's not true, then I think Netflix opens themselves up to a bunch of liability for firing this person and specifically stating that that was the reason. So that's where I kind of lean towards for that specific person, that's why they were fired. But again, I think as far as like the businesses goes, like I would like to see people treated in a good way. But I also think that if people are doing things that are going to be detrimental to the businesses have the right to fire those people. I don't know where Netflix is headquartered and what their laws are and where this person works specifically. I don't remember reading that in an article. But I think most places have a reason. If they feel like people are being detrimental to the interests of the business, they should be let go. It's just like when you sign a contract to be an employee, that's what you sign up for. And if you don't want to follow those rules, then, you're out. But I do think that what the bigger issue here is when it comes to businesses like this is, to what do we hold them to the fire as far as like canceling those businesses, right? Like I don't think the majority of people are going to care enough about this to like cancel Netflix. Some people may remove those, but I think that there's like a much bigger outrage on things like with like the huge QD scandal and things like that, with like a bunch of people. They lost like $7 billion in like subscriptions because of that and stuff like that. Dave Chappelle, I mean, he's going to be a millionaire. He's fine. Nobody's going to cancel him. But I worry about the precedent that this sets for like this vocal minority trying to get these people so-called canceled, even though it's pretty much for naught. But yeah, I'll end there.
Thank you so much, Biggs. Nefarious, you seem to be very aggressive with the hand raising. And then Sam, did you raise your hand as well, or were you just like
No, I
scratching
did
your
not.
head?
No.
Okay, all
Sorry.
right. Nefarious, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the fact that the company employees that were fired were reinstated like the next day. So if it was for like leaking confidential information and stuff like that, I don't feel like Netflix
No,
I
would.
thought it was
she's
one.
still gone. One person was
Yeah,
reinstated.
one person
This
was
person that
reinstated.
leaked,
Okay, okay,
that
sorry.
leaked information is gone. No, it's all good. It's confusing
You're
because
right,
there's
you're
different
right.
people.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. No, yeah. So they were reinstated. So if they were really like fired on these like leaking and stuff like that, I don't think Netflix would reinstate it. I think it's like way more logical to think that Netflix reinstated them because of the
So he's literally
backlash that they
going
were
with his
getting, and they
point
would
that
fire that
we already
person
told him it wasn't the
specifically
point.
to avoid backlash.
Thank you so much. Jengis.
Sorry, had to burp. So canceling is a big old topic. It absolutely does exist. We hurt everything. Anytime you make an argument that is not true, it hurts your movement. And if you say cancel culture is not real, that is not true. People get canceled all the time, and some of them get canceled for dumb shit. However, in the original sense of the word, canceling is not always a bad thing, because like if there is a vocal minority out there, like how do you attack Netflix? How do you attack Dave Chappelle? They have all the money in the world. They could buy you if they wanted to. Like there's
I don't know if this is the
recourse
route
do
this
you
guy
have
wants to
when
go
you have
down.
this powerful company? Let's say that there was let's say Chappelle's special was just shitting on trans people. 100% was going to like increase hatred for trans people. For the sake of argument, let's say that. Let's say that's for the sake of argument. So what are you going to do? Like you're gonna have a vocal minority try to step up and try to get some sort of repercussions against this company, if not legally, if not like attacking their, if not like pressuring Netflix to fire him or
Excuse
anything
me.
like that. You're
Damn.
going to try to attack their bottom line because that's all the recourse you have as that vocal minority. I mean, minorities are oppressed in this country, and when we say vocal minority, I mean, if the minorities are vocal, they're vocal minorities. So, like, what other recourse can you have? Like,
Wait
obviously,
for
like,
Hans's
cancel
mom.
culture can be bad and dumb, but sometimes it could be like a good recourse. Like, he was holding powerful people accountable that otherwise would have gotten away with it because they have all the money in the world and all the status in the world. No one was to go against them because it would hurt their career in the industry. Anybody who had the power to do something about it is not willing to do it because it makes them money. So, in a certain sense, like, cancel culture can be a good thing when it is used to that effect. So in our hypothetical situation, I think like canceling them would be the right thing to do. But when we bring it back to reality, in this specific case, I don't think it warrants it. I think the criticism absolutely should be there. I just
Thank you so
rambled. I'm
much,
sorry.
No, thank you so much, Jangles. All right. I think that's an excellent stopping point, and we're going to go to closing statements for this topic. Try and keep them to 60 seconds for this. No interruptions, so please, if someone's saying something, if someone calls you a horrible name, you're not allowed to respond unless it's breaking TOS or it ends the internet as we know it. So be very careful. Whoever goes first, Doomer, a lot of people can shit on you. There's nothing you can fucking do to stop it. So, Doomer, first closing statement, buddy. 75 seconds on the clock. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that much to say, I guess. Like, what really matters at the end of the day with a comedy special is that it's funny, and if it is uninformed or cruel, it's going to be less funny and therefore bad. So, try not to make really cruel, uninformed jokes in your comedy special. It's not going to work out. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Doomer. Go ahead, Nefarious.
Yeah, so I think we all agreed at the end. I think that what Dave Chappelle did, not only could it be dangerous and harmful to the trans community, but it was also really not funny. And using all of these old jokes, as me and Jangles were talking about, is kind of stupid because it kind of ruins the whole theory behind comedy and the whole idea of why comedy is funny. And I think Dave Chappelle could probably be transphobic. I think he definitely is, but I don't think there's any like malintent behind it. I don't feel like he hates trans people or he doesn't think they're human. I just think he's very uneducated.
Thank you, Nefarious. Biggs.
Yeah, so to go off what Nefarious just said there, I don't think Dave is transphobic at all, really. I also don't think, I mean, he said it on a couple times as part of his jokes that he was like, oh, the transphobic Dave Chappelle. I don't think people that are like transphobic or racist are going out there saying in public that they're racist or transphobic. I think the people we're mostly worried about are the people that are like doing it like behind the scenes and not, just making jokes about stuff like that. But again, I think that as far as like Dave Chappelle goes, nobody's going to cancel Dave Chappelle. Nobody's going to really cancel Netflix. I think that there is something to be said about platforming specific content. I didn't think it was necessarily the most, and I think we kind of all agree it was the most transphobic or even homophobic or any type of phobic issues in this special. I think actually after watching some of his older stuff from the other 5 episodes or whatever specials, there was actually more controversial stuff in those than was in this one, and I think it's kind of interesting that we're talking about this. As far as the Netflix company goes and the business there, I think that if people want to stand up for what they believe in, I'm all for that 100%. But just understand that you're going to have to face consequences if you do things that are either illegal by leaking information or by just standing on your morals. Like there may be consequences to that, so you have to be able to accept that. But I'm perfectly fine with that, and I think that we should let people speak and do as much as possible to open up the lines of communication, because I think that's the big issue we have in the whole country is having open lines of communication and not shutting people down.
Thank you so much, Biggs. All right, Sam.
Yeah, I think that we've covered a lot. I think that there was like a bunch of things to talk about where we were talking about like maybe he missed the mark, maybe he didn't really understand what he was talking about. I don't agree that like he wasn't transphobic just because he was using the fact that he was calling himself transphobic as kind of a shield. But we could talk about like we're not going to talk about it anymore, but like that's something that you could always look into and like look into why people use those shields as a way to protect themselves from criticism. And again, I think like the biggest thing for me was how he talked about how all this special was about hating white people
Buckeye, true.
as a shield for criticism against
They took away his Oscar hosting because he made a
labels.
tweet or comment.
Thank you so much, Sam.
2011
Jangles
or 2010.
So I memed about like I hate comedy, no one should joke or anything like that, but nothing could be further from the truth. I fucking love stand-up comedy. It is my favorite art form. I want everyone just to appreciate the fact that Dave Chappelle's special, a stand-up comedy special in which a person sits on a stage with no theatrics, just on a stage with the microphone talking to an audience, that is trending alongside fucking Squid Game. Can we appreciate the incredible artistry that goes into stand-up comedy and why it resonates with so many people? We should talk about it more. It is an art form worth diving into and analyzing and talking about why things work and why they don't work. Jokes are incredible. They're really fucking interesting to dive into, and we should do it more. The great stand-up comics of all time, like Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, they weren't just incredibly funny. They changed social paradigms. They changed how the country looked at certain issues. So to pretend that like a stand-up has no power to like cause good or harm is an insult to the craft of stand-up comedy. And I wish we didn't have this like bubble around our precious jokes where they can't be looked at any deeper than we currently do.
Thank you, Jangles.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that a person with a massive platform, people who listen to them, should do what they can to make good things happen? Anyway, Chud, last thoughts on this topic. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, so what this has shown me is that people are afraid, they're scared, they're worried, and I get it. I understand. It's a difficult world out there, okay? So to that end, I've decided to create a training camp for racism. So if you want to fight back next time this happens, so the next time a black comedian tells jokes about trans people, if you want to fight back with racism, come by my camp. I'll teach you how to tell racist
I love
jokes.
Chud with the memes. I love it. Chud always comes
together
with the memes.
rather than releasing criticism and critique and frustration. You can release a flood and torrent of racism onto the internet as has never been seen before. That's it.
Thank you so much, Chud. All right, everyone, that was the end of topic 1. Feel free to take a 3 to 4 minute break, go get some water, use the bathroom, that sort of stuff. I will be here. I'm gonna blow my nose because I'm a little bit still congested. I'm feeling a lot better, but still a little bit congested. So, all right, take your time.
Be sure to tell your guest we appreciate them. I was trying to wave, but I don't think they could see.
Oh no,
that's what I was doing.
My mom says hi, everybody.
Awesome.
My mom likes
Super based,
Hans,
super based.
Hans, you still haven't thanked the 2 European people here for staying up so late to come on here. It's 2 a.m.
Europeanoids, thank you so much for staying up.
Yeah.
I know you have I know your Sunday mornings are very important to you, Nefarious, all right?
What is that? What is that meant to be?
I was
What
like,
the fuck?
I don't. What do you think it means? I feel like that could be interpreted so few ways. Like,
I mean, yeah. To be honest, I got to be at church in a few hours. Do you know what I mean? So like, what
That's
the fuck?
true. Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Chud's just like up in his midnight shit, just like, oh, like, I might as well.
You know what
I'm awake.
Hans, you can wait for us, right? But God can't. Okay,
Oof.
Yeah,
and that's what matters.
exactly.
That's what
Oh,
matters.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm more patient than God, right? I'm the nicest online leftist. I've never done anything to make anyone mad at me ever. I am the least controversial figure. Yeah. Also, it's really sad. I was like, V was talking about me on a stream apparently and saying I was bad news and there's a lot of red flags, but I didn't get to listen to it because we're streaming right now. I didn't want to listen to it, but I'll watch it after. I'm burning bridges with my inspiration and original idol. So sad.
Wait, who was Vivian?
No, Vosh.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I reported on that drama earlier, by the way, on your little
What'd
Twitter.
you think of the debate? What'd you think of the debate, Chud? Want to throw some hands right now? How are we feeling right now? I think I'm almost as big as your avatar.
Okay, listen, this is what it is, okay? I completely agree. Like, I've been critical of Hassan in the past, right? No problem. I completely agree that he ought to do more. But I think that there's like a moral condemnation that people are looking for. And it's like, does that actually make him do something? Probably not. I think the bigger problem here is the structural issues that are at play that lead people to not do anything with their money and time, etc., that need to be addressed. That's it.
I
That's
mean,
my
Wow.
comment.
Personally,
Do you feel like we would have a better chance of incentivizing him if we use something more powerful like yummy food?
yeah,
Okay, listen, why
Like-
you're crossing drama now.
That's like,
This is
All right.
so meta. So meta.
Oh man, I love meta. Like
I'm
it's like
back.
we're inside a fourth wall break, talking about walls, breaking walls. Is there-
Jangles, your closing statement. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, personally, I
I
hope he
love this stuff.
continues not paying anyone. That way my video would be better.
It's like,
Wait, hang on a sec. I don't think it doesn't pay anyone. I just think that, like, I don't know how much he pays them, but presumably it isn't very much or it's minimum wage. I don't know, but like, obviously, yeah, I don't know.
Why
what-
doesn't he pay them a share of what he makes? Because wouldn't that like lead them
I mean,
to
I agree. Yeah, sure.
This-
I think rev
Yeah.
share is
Best-
probably fair enough.
best co-op on Twitch? Destiny gives August what, like 40% of the YouTube revenue? Sounds like a co-op to me. Just saying.
yeah? No,
What-
but that
Based
you're
on
also
I paid
using-
for this. I paid for this beer with change that was in my car's cup holders, so I don't know really like
You're-
what place
you're-
I have in this discourse.
You're
Mhm.
also using like the profit motive to incentivize better work,
So
right?
true.
Like
Hell
the
yeah.
better
I-
editing, the more people
Based.
want.
I wish I could give my people more. I compensate my producer, my editor, and my thumbnail artist. But obviously, like I don't make a lot of money from this, so it's like I can't like actually.
Wait,
it's not like,
how has no
but-
one talked about like hasn't Hassan given everyone content that they then made money off of? Is
So
that not a
true.
form
The
of
Hassan
socialism?
Industrial Complex. He did it.
Hans, you have a thumbnail artist?
Yeah.
Can your editor not do both?
He can't draw.
How much do you pay your thumbnail artist?
Like a 6 per thumbnail.
I can do better for 5.
Ooh.
Neo, getting called out. All right, we're gonna have some art battles. All right, we'll see. No,
That's the
Neo's
real topic right
Neo's
there.
been amazing. Okay, Neo has been absolutely amazing. She's the one who made the initial like thumbnail for the Demon Mamba debate that blew up. So like, I think you could do better than that. I don't know if you can. I don't think you can get that lightning in a bottle more than once.
To anyone
need
that's
someone to-
listening, I'm looking for an editor and I have money to pay, okay? This is taking up way too much time.
They're trying
really?
to
Anyway, listen,
steal
Hans,
steal your
editor, Hans,
editor, Hans, stealing people from you.
Hans, you are trapped in the supermarket of ideology. Pick an ideology based on who is and isn't nice to you, and I think that's fucking ridiculous. I just wanted to say that to you, okay?
So true. My ideology doesn't change. I just think most leftists are useless, and I think sock dems and liberals are better for like achieving leftism right now. But anyway, we're going into
Wait,
topic.
what the fuck? Wait. Oh my god. Okay.
We can
Sorry.
debate.
We're gonna change the
Here's
topic.
the real
Let's go.
Chud, I'm happy to debate you on that. As like at some point other than this panel. I take my
sure,
mom.
okay.
I take my mom to
I
the
concede my time to Chud.
airport tomorrow.
All of it.
I got a meeting with a friend
What's
that night.
what's the Sockton
and then-
position on if we all vote to change the topic?
There's-
What's the Sockton position on that?
I'm not supposed to debate, but if we
I'll
want to
tell you
change the
what, you
topic-
debate and I'll moderate, okay? How about that,
Okay.
Hans?
Okay, all right.
I just think the idea that
You'll-
liberals are going
you'll-
to achieve leftism is fucking
Coming in
stupid. They're
from the
fucking
top
liberals. What are you
I'm
talking
ready.
about?
Oh, I just think progressive liberals, if they're pushing left, they're doing more than leftists who say that we shouldn't do anything to do leftism. I'm just
I
like,
strongly agree. Strongly.
I'm just,
That's our topic now.
I guess, Biggs,
How are we getting rid of
Biggs is the moderator now. Let me mod Biggs in
Hell yeah.
Discord really quick.
No, listen. I actually did want to talk about the Twitch stuff, but Hans, listen, I'll reach out. We'll sort something out. We'll have a chat, okay?
Absolutely. I know. I know
I
we're
see.
maybe- yeah, I'm
I just
ready.
hear backpedaling from Chud now. You know, that's all I hear.
know. What a blown out already. Like topic number 3, because topic
You
number
won.
2 ended in
Hans,
a
you won.
decisive Hans victory.
Exactly.
No, I love you, Chud. Chud, we can talk next week. I start my full week of work next week, but we'll do DMs and like figure out time for a conversation.
Yeah, sounds good.
There's a lot of lefties who want to talk with me about this. So like I'm ready to do like just like I did my school gauntlet. I'll do the effectiveness gauntlet against like 8 different people. I'm ready. Riverboat Jack, if you're out there,
Hans,
happy
I
to
know you
debate
know what
again.
periodization is. You can't have that many gauntlets that close together.
Oh,
I know
He's
you know what
mowing everybody
periodization is.
down. He'll just mow all the lefties down, just
I'm not-
one at a time.
Yeah, I never tried to burn bridges. I'm just like immolating people, and they just happen to be on like bridges sometimes. All right, that's not my fault. Anyway, so we're gonna start topic number 3 with. I'm going down. Sen, I will literally
3.
TOS you. Anyway.
Yeah, he won the last
so-
one. That was 2. Him and Chud.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
That's-
All right. So, all right, we're
The
gonna go to
people who
topic-
are talking about
No,
comedy
oh,
don't
okay,
understand the
okay,
jokes.
okay,
That's what I was
okay,
saying before.
All right. We're gonna call that a draw between me and Chud. All right, out of respect for a man who stayed up late to have this conversation. We're
Thanks,
gonna go to
appreciate
topic
that.
number 2. Chud is canonically the only one of 2 people who has not lost a debate to me. So true. All right, so topic number 2. The recent Twitch leaks have had at least 2 streamers banned: the Surfs and Destiny, over quote-unquote leaking classified information. Much of this information was already public and reported on by relevant mainstream news agencies. Is this an example of a platform cracking down unnecessarily on leaks it would prefer to remain hidden, or does Twitch have the right to do this? Should they have the right to do this, especially when it's about leaks critical of their own platform? We are going to do some randomization really quick, but we can't move Doomer around because he's not a person with a webcam. Doomer,
You just
gotta
got
fix that.
D-person Doomer. How do you feel about that?
Oof. He's just a voice. He's just a voice in my monitor right now. Right? Is he real? I don't know. He could be an AI at this point. I don't know. All right.
Disembodied voice in your mind.
So true. So we're gonna start with Nefarious, then Biggs, then Chud, then Sam, then Jangles, and then finishing with Doomer. Because again, Doomer, I can't fucking move you, buddy. And then we're gonna go in the opposite direction. So 75 seconds for the opening because I know everyone goes over 60 seconds because all you motherfuckers are chatty. So 75 seconds for topic number 2. Nefarious, go ahead, buddy.
I'm gonna make this one quick just for you, Hans. Okay. I believe that Twitch is a private company right now, so they currently, as it is, they ought to be able to terminate any accounts that break TOS. However, if you are to make the claim, which I think I might agree, I don't know yet, I'm kind of on the fence about this, that we should nationalize or make public these social media moguls. That could be a different argument. I think that they probably shouldn't have been banned for banning it for leaking the shit, even though they weren't leaking on it, they were just reporting on leaks, because it was actually fully public. However, it is on TOS that they shouldn't do it. So
Thank you, Nefarious, for that amazing fence-sitting opening statement. Biggs, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so even though it was against terms of service, probably, and again, I'm a Twitch affiliate, but I don't know. I never read the actual terms of service, but I'm guessing it's against the terms of service to do anything that's detrimental to the company. But once something is completely public and available to anybody, I think as an open platform, I would push Twitch to want to have that be allowed. I think it's ridiculous that people got banned for stuff that was literally in articles on, I believe it was like CNN even had an article about it. I know there was some things that were quoting the TERFs with about him being banned. So I think it's just ridiculous. As much as I want to say that like companies should be able to do what they want, once something's completely public, I just think it just looks bad on them. It makes them look like they're just trying to cover up stuff and hide stuff. So I'm against that in general. And as far as like should they have done it, I don't think so. Like I said, like obviously there's a leak and that's a problem. I think we should be more focusing on like why this stuff leaked, what security measures they should have had in place. I've done IT in the past. So like that is a bigger issue to me, especially being a Twitch affiliate, having things like my bank and stuff like that tied to Twitch. I think that should be something we're all should be concerned about. So I would like to look more into that than anything else. But yeah, I don't think they should have banned them.
Thank you so much. All right, and then adding an additional like a layer of people want to talk about this as well. How do you feel about the incomes leaked of like at least like the larger streamers? There were fun like little charts about all the orbiters and people in the politisphere as well. So including like Destiny, Mike from PA, Hassan, all those sort of people. So anyway, Chud, 75 seconds on the clock, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I know that Destiny, the reason he was suspended was because he read the email address of a Twitch employee on stream. To be honest with you, I feel like that really was kind of looking for a reason to do it rather than actually being a meaningful reason to ban him. But I believe he's back now. The serfs, I'm not sure. Apparently, they showed an email which had some payout data on the screen.
Last one.
That is not 100%. I don't know about that
Love you.
one.
I'm not
But I
quite done
think
with
in
it. I'll
either
go to
case,
myself in my
I'm
chat for you.
against both of the suspensions.
babe.
I think that this was in the public. I think it was fair enough to talk about, even if there was like some mistakes made in the course of covering it. Yeah, I think that it seems to me like Twitch are kind of trying somewhat to crack down on maybe some of the criticism of them. I don't know, possibly that's the case. No proof of that. That's just my thought on it. Yeah, in
Excuse
terms
me.
of the streamer information, yeah, of course, people at the pinnacle of their craft are going to get paid a lot of money. It's the same argument you can make against footballers or actors. I don't think it's unique to Twitch. That's basically it.
All right, thank you, Chud. All right, Sam.
Yeah, so I think that like what Chud said at the end here is that like these criticisms about like how much the Twitch creators make is like usually just you're going to be making that criticism against anybody who makes entertainment for content for people to consume. I don't think it's unique to Twitch creators. You can probably make those criticisms again against Hassan or others people like you guys were talking about in the interim, and that could be another conversation. I think that whether or not Twitch should or can ban these creators for leaking them, they can. That's their right to do so. Should they? That's another question. I don't think that they should. I think that it makes very little sense. I'm against that both of the suspensions as well. And then mainly because a lot of this information was already out, is available for anybody to download. It was and kind of the Streisand effect. The more you try to hide it, the more it's going to just get out there.
Definitely,
People are gonna
yep.
be
I agree with
interested
that,
in
Sam.
into it and looking at that data.
All right, thank you so much, Sam. Jangles.
All right, I'm gonna give you all whiplash. All right, I knew a lot about the previous topic. I don't know shit about this one. Now you might think that puts me at a disadvantage. It does not, because now I'm motivated to just take the contrary position to make for a better conversation and better content. So now I can say whatever
Hans
the
hates
fuck I
that, just so you know.
Yeah, so now I can say whatever the fuck I want, and I can't be canceled for it because I've preempted it with like I might not actually believe all this stuff. Okay, all right. So my thinking is, would it have been against TOS if a streamer had found this on their own and they started reporting it? Would it have been against TOS? I think like leaking income data. I think that's and email address and stuff like that. I think that might reasonably be against TOS.
Probably.
As
I agree
far as
with
like
that.
has it been reported by other media outlets? Well, it depends on what media outlets, because like who goes to media outlets, like who like seeks them out. Like it kind of depends, and that's not to say that like, oh, that means like you can't spread it further. Like if we take something like I don't know, a nude photo or something like that. Obviously, that would be against TOS. That
The
would make sense. But
fappening. Everybody
if
remembers
other
the
media
fappening.
outlets report on it, does that make it okay to show like a nude photo of somebody, even if you censor it out? Like, I don't think it does. So I think it. I'm almost on Twitch's side here, just for the content, because like I don't know, man. Don't if that was supposed to be secret information, don't leak it out. It's not really your call to make, like to leak how much money someone else makes.
Thank you, Jangles.
That's my contrarianism. You're welcome, Han.
No, it's good. I'm ready. Like you're not allowed to see. Everyone should report their salaries for better unionization, but like we should not. But like showing what you make is bad as a creator.
Right.
So, I love it. So true. Anyway, we're gonna throw it to Doomer. Nefarious, I see you raising your hand for the list in general. I'll put you first. Biggs, I'll put you on there as well. Everyone else feel free to start raising their hands. Doomer, 75 seconds last opening statement on this, then we'll move to the general. Go ahead, Doomer.
Yeah, so the whole discussion about their wages is pretty funny because as far as I'm concerned, that was already public information. Like you can go to Hassan's stream, look at the number of subs, multiply by 4, and you're pretty close. So I honestly don't know why everyone made it such a big deal about that. It's very I just don't get it. It's very confusing. As for the whole like banning stuff, yeah, like everyone else said, Twitch can do whatever they want. They can, but I struggle to find a reason that they would want to do this. Maybe if they wanted to ban Destiny, like Chud said, and they just wanted to have an excuse, maybe that makes sense. But like banning the serfs for 30 days, I don't. it seems very. I struggle to come up with a reason why they would want to do that. I can think of a lot of reasons they wouldn't want to ban these people, and very few as to why they would, what they could possibly stand to benefit. So I find it to be very confusing in terms of like a business strategy. It seems incredibly stupid to me. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, we're going to move into the general. It's going to be about 35 minutes, and then we're going to go to closers. So, want to respect all of your time, and the Europeanoids make sure they actually get some sleep tonight. Thank you again so much for staying up so late. Nefarious, I'm trying to be
I
nice
have
to you right
another
now.
panel after this, okay?
Oh, yeah. All right. I see.
We're just getting started,
I
okay?
see you, buddy. All right. I see you too, Jangles. All right, Nefarious, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to stop being a bitch and say that I'm not fence sitting anymore. I believe that we should nationalize all of this like mainstream alternative media like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, especially when they have kind of like a monopoly on online discourse, or at least provide a public option that could like somewhat compete with it. That's it.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Nefarious.
We can nationalize it together, Chud.
Yes, let's do it.
Biggs, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Chud, if you want to jump in, you're welcome to. As a quick response, go ahead.
Oh, it's not really a response. I do see where Duma Politics is coming from. I guess the difficulty I've got is like I know fairly certainly as to why Destiny got banned. It's fairly obvious if you know what happened. But with the serfs, I'm really not sure. All I've got is like half information, and it seems odd to me that the serfs would get. Just thinking about it, the fact the serfs get 30 days would suggest that their offense was worse than Destiny's, who only got 14 days. So what is it that they did that's worse than leaking a, to Twitch anyway, that's worse than leaking a Twitch employee's email? Do you see what I mean? Like, does anyone have any insight into that?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it seems crazy to me, and I'm pretty predisposed against Lance, but I saw that and I was like, man, that seems like complete bullshit. What is up with this?
Has Lance like had any infractions before? And also, I think quick fact check from the chat. They said Destiny only got 7 days, not even 2
back
weeks.
today, so he was streaming today.
I checked a while back.
Oh, sorry, I got confused.
Yeah, I think Lance had one previous ban.
Okay.
With
Go ahead,
Twitch,
Sam.
I think one of the things that we have to remember is that even with Destiny's thing, he may have some insight from somebody he knows inside the company, but like these bans are never 100%. They never tell their creators 100% why they were suspended, right? So even Destiny here is like, while he has a high probability of knowing that this is for what he is from inside sources, there's still a chance that that could not be the reason, and that's something we do need to be wary about. That like Twitch has been very, very, very hidden about why they ban creators. Even like with the most, like Amaranth got banned across like multiple platforms at the same time, and she had no idea why. And she said that she was trying to figure it out. So like, not even in this space do people get banned for no reason or seemingly no reason, and like are left without an answer.
Thank you, Sam. We're gonna throw it to Biggs, then Jangles, then Nefarious.
Yeah, so I want to say it's kind of interesting too that we're talking about these specific things about the arbitrary like rulings for things like this, when part of the stuff that was leaked was some of the stuff that was like their like descriptions of like what is bannable and what is not bannable and like the thresholds. But even that was so confusing as fuck. Even though we had it written down, people still don't know what the fuck you can get banned or not banned for. It's just so ridiculous to me. How that is the case, and like how this is how these companies kind of get away with these things where they can say, oh well, it's terms of service because of this completely vague and just ridiculous rule that we just make up as we go along kind of things. At least that's how it feels to me anyways. As far as like what Nefarious was saying earlier, and Chud as well a little bit, I know it was just kind of tongue-in-cheek, but like as far as like nationalizing these platforms and stuff like that, as long as you guys want to do that in a way that like it's 100% like free speech, like open, anybody can say anything, like as long as that's the case, like I'm all for it. But I think as part of like section 230, like we need to kind of revamp that in general and make it be so like these platforms don't have as much of editorial control and stuff like that in what people say. Like obviously they want to protect their sales from their ad revenue and all that bullshit, but like I just think that like if we can open this up, and I'm all for that, like nationalizing, like even though I'm against big government, but like as long as it's like if I can say whatever I want to say and everybody can say that without being shut down, I'm all for it. Because like I said before, more speech is better. The more ideas we can get out there, the more conversation we can have, especially if people don't have that fear of being shut down. I think that that's where we need to head towards, and that will definitely help society, because right now we have so many people so divided and not wanting to speak their mind because they're scared of what they might say might have the consequences, like for whatever. Like, just let's get it out there. Let's get people's like real opinions out there. You mentioned Ricky Gervais earlier. I forgot who did. I think it was Jangles maybe, or Nefarious. Like, have you ever heard The Invention of Lying? Like, that was one of the best movies ever. So yeah, so like that's my whole take. But like, you guys are amazing. I love you, Chud. You're fucking awesome. I concede all the rest of my time to Chud.
All right. Okay, Chud. Before we throw it to Chud, both.
Quick response.
I know. It's both
Waiting.
Doomer. Wait, what?
I've been waiting. I was next.
I know, but
After you,
like both
Jangles.
Doomer and Nefarious like ask for quick responses. Like we'll get.
I'm better.
Oh my god! All right, Doomer first because
I have
Doomer
my
did it
camera
first.
on.
Oh my god!
Oh!
Hope and seethe, Europeanoid. Doomer, get your quick response, and then we're gonna throw it to
No, I
Nefarious.
see how it is. I see how it is.
Really quickly about terms of service, they're intentionally vague. It's in the
Yes.
company's best interest for them to be as vague as possible. So you should never expect there to be very clear guidelines. That's never going to happen. Yeah, that's it.
Right,
I
thank you.
just
And then-
want to
yeah, Nefarious,
quickly
go ahead.
say, Biggs touched on something super important. Government intervention when it comes to this like type of platform would actually increase freedom of speech. Now, this is because you can actually hold the government accountable, whereas you can't hold these big platforms accountable. For example, these stupid
Sure,
bans, stuff like
based.
that, nobody's gonna boycott Twitch, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Twitch has kind of like a monopoly on streaming. But when it comes to into government, right, it's not like voting with your dollar anymore. It's actually like voting, and you can have a direct say on this. And also, the government is more directly held accountable to the Constitution and things like that. So you have First Amendment laws in place and stuff. And I just want to say, I forgot the second. No, don't worry. Go on.
You were so hyped that you couldn't even fucking remember what you were gonna say. All right, Biggs,
I
you're
love it,
going to have a
Biggs.
brief response to what Nefarious said, and then we're throwing it to Jangles, who
No, give it
is-
to Jangles, man. Jangles have been
okay.
waiting.
All right, Jangles.
You're
go
my
ahead,
boy,
buddy.
Jangles.
Yeah. All right. Remember, I'm an idiot. I'm being the contrarian here. Okay. So all of us agree that transparency is good. Like it would be nice. Obviously, like they can't be 100% objective. Like if they ban racism from their platform, like what is an objectively racist statement? Like obviously there's going to be some degree of like subjectivity, but that makes it more important that we ought to have some degree of transparency. And I know why they don't do it, because like they have an algorithm check things, and they're just a lot quicker. And like there's only so much, like with the sheer amount of content on these platforms, like you can't have a human individually analyze every single thing. I know why they don't do it, but it would be that we want them to be more consistent with their TOS. With that being said, is there anything in that TOS that is an exemption clause for if everyone else is doing it? If everyone else is already reporting on this
Probably
thing
not.
that was against TOS, does that make it okay to say it? If everyone else is reporting on Nick Fuentes, does that mean you can have him on your Twitch platform, even though he's banned from Twitch? So, like, is there an exemption clause for if everyone else is doing it, that makes it okay? That makes it not against TOS? Wouldn't that go against the need for more consistency and transparency in enforcing that TOS, which I think all of us would agree that there should be a TOS, right?
Does anyone disagree with that?
You disagree that there should be a TOS? Which part did you disagree with? I said like 50 things, and I rambled on purpose. That's called gish galloping. You fell for it.
I don't think anybody disagrees. Did anybody disagree?
I don't think
We
anyone
give you 2
disagrees, yeah.
minutes, so if you want to just, expose just bullshit, like that's fine. That's on your 2 minutes, buddy.
You have 40 more seconds, Jangles. Anything else you want to get off your chest? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Oh, based. Okay.
Ew, dude, what
That
the
was awesome.
fuck?
I love mint chocolate chip too, buddy. I love it too.
All right,
I'm
order,
sorry.
order. All right. We're gonna throw it now to Nefarious, who's been waiting very patiently.
It was hold on. It was a contrarian argument, but I think that's a good point to bring up for the sake of conversation.
Wait, why are you throwing up to me? I didn't even put my hand up. You're tripping, bro.
I think
No,
Chud was next.
You were. Oh,
Yeah, Chad was next.
I mean,
I've never
Nefarious
seen
was
Chud-
just going off, just shaking his head, going crazy.
I've
but-
never fucking seen like Chud like raise his hand in the last like 10 minutes. Like maybe I'm just like being like
Nah,
really
I don't
discriminatory
rate
towards like
and I just
VTubers.
talk.
All right, Chud, you can go next. And like Nefarious, you gotta stop moving your hands so much. All right, like you're some flavor of European. I didn't know you were Italian. All right, like
Wow.
I can't tell if this is raising your hand
Cancelled.
or if you're just excited. Yeah, that's right. You know what? I'll bite
not
that bullet.
Italian,
You
he's
see
normal.
this?
Like, how many bullets do I have to bite, chat?
Wow.
Let's go. Like Joker arc. I'm ready. All right, we're gonna go. Chud, go. Say something cancelable. Spell. Do the spell out the word for us. Go ahead.
Do the meme again.
Like,
No, listen, look, I've already done it a second time as a joke, so I think I need to find some more racist memes to get into. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's bad. Like I appreciate this is the thing, right? I think that like, you know, we all do it sometimes. We argue from TOS, right? But I think arguing that it's okay that someone was banned because of TOS, I think is the equivalent almost of arguing that it's okay if someone got arrested because what they did was illegal. I think you're arguing from like a place of legality, and I think what's more interesting is to actually look at and assess, is the thing they did bad, by whatever framework you're assessing it with. And I'm sorry, but I just don't think that like Destiny reading a employee's email like from I believe it was off a publicly reported thing or something. I don't know. I just don't really see like a significant issue with that. And yeah, the thing is also what he was exposing was this do not ban list, which included content creators like Rice Gum, which is a bit sus. So I think asking questions about why do Twitch have lists of creators which are unbannable is an important conversation to have as a part of all of this. And I think bringing that to light is important. I don't know. That's my take, I guess. I just came up with.
All right. Sam, go ahead.
Yeah, I think building off of this, I think the transparency issue is like a huge thing. I know that Destiny's talked about this before, how he knew that prior to Amazon's purchase of Twitch, the Twitch bans were handled by just a spreadsheet, like a spreadsheet with information of which users were banned. And like I think there is to talk about like when a tech company goes from something like that to like being owned by Amazon and having the resources behind Amazon, and how they can like one use transparency to their users and to their content creators, the people who make them money, to make the platform better, and also to improve the systems in place. I know we talked about algorithms. You can always make those algorithms better and train them better and reinforce behavior that you want better. And that could be also transparent to the users and the creators on your platform.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sam. All right, Jangles and then Nefarious.
So I think the conversation of whether or not the leaked things are good and important, and it's good that they've been leaked. That's a separate conversation because whistleblowers have been an important part of like democracy for as long as like corporations and secrecy has been a thing, which is basically since the beginning of democracy. Like no one would argue against the concept of whistleblowers. There was some really really valuable information that was leaked on that, but it's a separate conversation. So like if we're talking about yeah, it is it's a debate bro term, but it's like a fallacy to have like an argument from legality, like
What's
oh,
up,
it's
Liquid
illegal, therefore
Sunshine?
we can't do it.
Yes.
That's an interesting and
I
good
love
conversation
you,
to
Liquid
have.
Sunshine.
But
Thank
at
you
some
for
point,
coming
you have to
by.
apply that. It has to be
Fucking
practical.
awesome.
Like whether or not it's like you can't just be arrested and like start debating the cop, like, oh, so just because I did what I did was illegal, you're gonna arrest me? Well, no. When it comes like to the real world, there has to be some measure of practicality, and there's a necessary like balancing act between like nuance and consistency. There's a necessary balancing act, and it's never going to be 100% correct in the direction. Partially because everyone disagrees on things. So, like, would you rather have a TOS
Django's
that
fucking
was
camera's getting all fucking choppy as
pliable
shit.
and very subjective and case by case basis, or which could be subject to all the human biases that we know is a problem with enforcing TOS? Or would you rather have a TOS that was consistent even when you can have a reasonable justification for why you violated? Like, which one would you rather have? I don't think there's a correct answer on that. I think but it's an interesting conversation to like go forward.
I think
Yeah,
you're moving too much, Jangles. Your camera's getting a little whacked out, buddy. Anybody else saying that?
I'll do what I want.
Okay, yeah, but aside from that, following up on that, Nefarious, I see you, but I'd like the panel to expand a little bit, specifically on Jangles' question. In terms, like, we talk a lot about like TOS on Twitch. How would you change TOS, if at all? Like, would you add things? Would you remove things? We can start with Nefarious, and then we can go around. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to directly respond to that. I think what we can do when it comes to TOS is if we're not for the full nationalization of these medias, we can have like a at least like a TOS like verifier, like a third party where the government steps in and sees like either sets TOS or
Sets TOS.
verifies whether it has been broken or not. So like a more concrete / like legal system behind this would probably be beneficial to all parties.
Thank you, Nefarious. Does anyone like to respond or add to that? Biggs, go ahead, and then Jangles.
Yeah, so I think Chud kind of touched on it before about the whole concept of like wanting to make it. They're making things like as ambiguous as possible, and we're never going to really have full disclosure on these things. And I think that's the biggest issue. Like we need to be able to know like what we can say and what we can't say. Like I think just playing these guessing games is just not good for anybody, right? Especially when we have stuff that's like actually out there in like the mainstream media. We have like literally like mainstream media, like non like super like sensitive, like not us, but like normies getting this type of like information, and we can't put it on Twitch because like it hurts Twitch's feelings, basically, like it hurts their company. Like I just think that that's ridiculous, and I do struggle to like want to nationalize these things, like Nefarious said, but I do think if it comes with the openness and transparency, maybe that might be a good thing. And we have things like that in other media spaces, like we have like things like NPR, we have PBS, like now that technology is getting to the advanced point, like why not have like a government or a nonprofit based government supported Twitch type streaming service? Like I think that would be perfectly fine. But I just think the whole thing is like we need transparency with everything. The more information we have, the better. I think now what we're seeing, especially like in the internet age, we have all this information, but so much stuff is like unclear and just so opaque that we don't know what's actually happening in the backgrounds, so we don't know what to believe. So that's my biggest issue. Transparency is a base, and we need to focus on that.
Thank you. All right, Jangles and then Doomer.
All right, so great points. I'm posing arguments for like discussion. All right, this is my shield. All right, you cannot cancel me for any wrong opinions that I have. All right, this is how you do it, people. All right, just say you don't believe anything you're saying.
He's
all right?
just asking questions, all right?
I'm just asking questions. All right. Like, all right. So there's a lot of good stuff. One, I want to know, like, how did the mainstream media report on this? Did they report on the numbers? Did they report email addresses? Because again, I actually don't fucking know. So I could, it's almost a legitimate question. So like, there are going to be ethics in journalism that ought to be like respected, right? You don't want to like publish private information, even if it was leaked. Like, there's unless it's a big deal. Like that's where like the line gets fuzzy. It's like what is what is responsible
me.
for a whistleblower to leak, and then what is responsible for a media outlet to report on, depending on like what their audience is. All right, there's nuance there. I think that all of us would agree that there's limits to transparency. Like full transparency with every single piece of information on your platform is not a good thing. No one wants their passwords leaked. All right, that would be full transparency. No one wants that. Like obviously, I'm not saying anybody does, but obviously we want some sort of limits on transparency. Like an interesting example of is it like ethical to put like I don't know, hours streamed, hours looking at other people's streams? Is that something that should be transparent? Like, should you be able to publish like how long another streamer has watched another streamer? I don't know. That seems kind of iffy to me. Like, should that be private? I think there's reasons for that to be private. Should it be public? I think there are reasons it could be public. Why it might be useful public information. So there's a lot of nuance there. And I'm pretty sure I had another point, but I forgot it.
No
And so
worries. All right, we're gonna throw it to Doomer, and then everyone. Oh, Doomer, and then Sam. Reminding everyone, we have about 13 minutes left before we go to closers for this. If you want to get in, get in. Go ahead, Doomer.
Yeah, so I have more of a question for you guys. So I generally agree that it's like if it was in the news and they're just talking about the news, it's very stupid to get banned for it. But as a hypothetical, let's say that the news doxed a Twitch employee. Then would it be reasonable for Twitch to punish people for reporting on the news because they're reporting information that doxes one of their employees?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, that's a fair point.
Okay. Was that your only
Yeah,
question?
yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I think that there is
Well,
an
well,
interesting.
Oh, go ahead, Jed. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, the thing is, the address of a Twitch employee isn't really in the public interest. But I think that Twitch having a list of people that on a non-bannable list, I feel that's more in the public interest than some random Twitch employees. I don't know.
All right. For Sam, and then after Sam is done, I'll pose a question to the panel. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I think that like what Chud just said kind of goes into what Jingle said, that there's like levels of what we want to be transparent, right? We don't want like like my personal view data, like what streams I want to view. I don't know if I don't know if I'm comfortable with that being public information. I don't know if anyone else is like. There are probably people that are maybe not be comfortable about that as well.
12 hours
again,
of amaranth a day.
I need to know how much Overwatch.
I made that exact joke. Shut the fuck up.
I
You're watching
will
the stream.
Roblox people to keep that secret.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not.
but on top of this, like there is a difference between how the mass media was reporting on it and the and both Destiny and the Serfs were. The Destiny and the Serfs were looking very much in through the data and looking through it, while most mass media were talking about it as a economic or financial decision. The company having this leak actually hurt Twitch financially. Whenever a leak happens like this, investors are worried that one, the source code is leaked. This is something that was talked about a lot. That the source code of Twitch was leaked. It's a closed source piece of software that is like proprietary. So if someone gets a hand of their source code and is able to make a competitor based off of it and edits it enough that they have some plausible deniability but makes it better, that's really hard for investors. So this is kind of investment news in the mainstream media versus what Destiny and the Serfs were doing. Now, I'm not saying that is a reason why that they should be banned, because again, this data was available. I mean, I know plenty of people who had downloaded it and had sifted through it and had made public tools to sift through it or go through it. People who were interested in data science, who are interested in statistics, things like that, because there's a lot of things to glean from this that are interesting.
Thank you, Sam. Jangles.
So I have a quick response to that, just to something Chud said. Like, it's not in the public interest. Obviously, I don't know if this is going to add anything or if it's just being like the fucking asshole contrarian. Like, what does it mean to be in the public interest? So like, I could. So I've been doing a lot of research on the response to like CRT and why people are freaking the fuck out about it. And there are a lot of people who would argue that if a teacher has an anti-racist book in her classroom, now that's a public interest. Now we just know where that teacher lives, because since they're a public employee, they deserve having people show up to her door, show up to her property to protest against her having that book in the classroom. That's in the public interest. We need to dox that employee. And the parallel to Twitch would be like, well, this person is banning all the right wingers or all the left wingers or all the British people off of Twitch. And even though one of those three is justified, well, that's in the public interest to like know where this employee is, so we can like hold them accountable for their power, because cancel culture, I just argued, was good. So like, it is tough. It's just injecting some nuance in the conversation, like what is the public interest, is really hard to decipher. Like a lot of like these, if it's up to like big corporations, they'll obviously decide that what's in the public interest. It's kind of like a circle Venn diagram of what is good for their bottom line. Versus, there's some nuance there. I added nothing to this conversation.
But the
I
thing,
derailed
wait,
it
no,
on
wait,
purpose.
okay. The problem you've got though is like the argument of like, oh, we need to know where this person lives. It's in the public interest. Doesn't really hold up, because it's like, well, why do you need to know where they live? Clearly, they want to invoke some harm upon them. So I don't think that
How else are we going to protest
in the
them? Why
public
aren't they leave?
Wait, listen, shut up, listen, okay? Here's the situation. Here's the situation, okay? I think that anything that's in the public interest is fine, but if that subverts one's right to privacy, I would argue that you've got to hold that as a standard, that people are still entitled to their right to privacy, even if there is information that's in the public interest. People's private information ought to be protected. There we go. Fuck you, Jangles.
Right, thank you.
Hey,
I
you're
think
welcome. No, you just made me look better. I thought I wasn't adding anything, and then you fucking answered it. That's called 40
Jangles, you look amazing. I love the salt and pepper look, man. It looks distinguished.
It is a banger look.
It does. I wish I had that. I'm gonna get white.
Don't worry, Jangles, I'm getting there. Don't worry. I know you can't see it right now, but I have tons of grays.
I feel a lot better about it if I was 40 instead of 31.
Oh man,
That's
I
fair.
feel like
I thought it was dyed, to be honest. That's how good it looks.
Yeah,
it looks
actually,
intentional.
like it's like steel gray or something like that. Anyway,
I genuinely thought it was dyed.
A quick question building off of Chud's thing, and we can respond to it or not. Otherwise, we're gonna throw it to Nefarious and then Biggs. Are there some individual? Okay, take Nefarious off the list because he obviously has nothing important to add. We're gonna. Chud came out pretty strongly against it, like having the addresses of teachers leaked. How do we feel about, say, politicians or other public figures? Are there individuals whose public addresses is important to know, or even valuable to know? Because there have been protests outside of various politicians' houses inside the United States. How do we feel about that before we throw it to Biggs? And then Nefarious is back on.
Give us a Nefarious. Give us a Nefarious first. He's freaking out over there.
This is a very scary conversation due to just what happened to like David MS.
Exactly. Yes, I was going to address that.
I think talking about like mixing politicians and their personal life with like their politics is very sketchy. I don't know how I feel about. Yeah, I do believe that like politicians have become like kind of faceless, and I think that's a problem. I think they have to respond directly to their community, but to what extent, right? We shouldn't be killing politicians out there, but we should be like doing this in a nice democratic fashion.
How does everyone else feel on the panel about that? Anyone feel like we know where the president lives? Should we hide him in a bunker?
I mean,
That,
do we really
that
know
was a
though?
joke. That was a joke. We're gonna throw it
What
to
a
Biggs.
bad take, dude.
For
So
legal reasons, that was a joke, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I think that is 100% like what Nefarious was saying there. It's like we have to protect people, especially our leaders in government, our representatives and stuff like that. Honestly, like for me personally, like I would never go to somebody's home to protest. I think where you should do it is in the streets of, you know, the if you're in Europe, like the UK, like where Chud is, the streets of Parliament, the Congress, like do things like that. I'm all for that. I just don't think that like going to people's private homes is where we want to be. I think that just opens up too many issues, too many possibilities of bad outcomes. Right? I don't want people to be threatened. I think that kind of detriment is a detriment to our representation because we don't want people to be intimidated. I think we want people to be taking like what they're doing and stuff like that. But what I wanted to say before all this stuff, and again, was I want to get your guys' take kind of on like releasing this information about their actual income, because to me I think like having this income publicly available is probably overall a good thing, because I think we have a lot of issues with like I know people say like the wage gap, whether that's real or not, things like that. I think when we open up these conversations and having this information public is probably actually a net benefit, because then we can see like who's getting the shaft and we can actually make change. And I know that's something like it's kind of taboo around the workplace because a lot of places don't want people talking about their wages and stuff like that. But I think things like this are a net benefit to society because we can see who's getting neglected and who's getting the shaft. And I think that that's important when we want to have things like equality of opportunity and things like that and equal pay and all that. So I was kind of curious at like how that, as far as the Twitch leaks went, how you guys felt about that.
Thank you, Biggs. I believe both Doomer and Nefarious have quick responses again.
Fuck!
And Nefarious, you just slow on the draw. It must be the time
Holy
difference.
shit,
He
dude.
can't get in. Doomer's sneaky. All right, Doomer.
Every time you steal
what-
my position, Doomer, I'll pay you $1 less. Okay.
All right, Doomer. Go ahead. What's your quick response? And then we'll throw it to Nefarious.
Yeah, so the major problem with releasing information about politicians is like, imagine the craziest person you know. There's like a lot of people crazier than that, right? So like maybe it's fine for a reasonable person to protest at someone's house, but you can't. Yeah, there's some lines being crossed there. And as for like I mean, just reiterating what I said
Yeah,
earlier, the
for sure.
subscription information is already basically public. I mean, I none of that information surprised me at all. I don't understand. It's just like you can see their sub counts, so yeah.
Thank you, Doomer. Nefarious.
Yeah, so I think that when you become you sign the affiliate or the partner program, you kind of agree to like not sharing your income unless you want to. And I feel like Twitch kind of probably should do a better job of protecting their streamers and stuff like that when it comes to these things, because one day it can be income, the next it could be something else. I don't think income of itself is kind of like bad to like leak, but I feel like it creates a dangerous precedent.
All right, thank you, Nefarious. Two people in chat that I just like to post questions to the panel before I throw it to Jangles, who's been waiting very patiently. Crowdsourced Politics is reminding us that sub counts are public, but ad revenue and special partner agreements are not. So their entire income is not fully disclosed. And then Peacecraft in chat. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm reading him. He has a question about sidewalks are common areas. If Hans becomes a senator, which is totally possible, I can absolutely wave a sign from the sidewalk. We should not curtail freedom of speech and protest due to 1% of whack jobs. How do we feel about that before we throw it to Jangles? Nefarious and then Jangles.
No, throw it to Jangles first.
Go ahead,
I actually
Jangles.
have two decent responses. And I'm gonna do them in reverse order. So, like leaking income and stuff, like we are talking about, like big rich Twitch streamers, like that it affects them the most, which I think is fair. But also, like we got to think about like the like less known streamer too. Like I have an ego. I think I'm decently respected in the community. I think I have a moderate name for myself. But if
I thought so too.
yeah, yeah. Well, if the money that I got leaked, if the money that I made off of YouTube and stuff got leaked, I feel like people will be asking like, do you need me to buy you a sandwich? Are you hungry? Like, I might not want that leaked. I'm super poor. I might not want my stuff leaked. And so, like, I think it's kind of shitty to like link information that people don't consent to. Regarding the other thing, here's my inconsistency, and that is within my brain. Because if you tell me about someone that I fucking hate, if you tell me like Tucker Carlson or Mitch McConnell, if you say like, should you be able to protest outside of their home? I'm like, fuck yeah, absolutely. Fucking make sure their lives are fucking miserable. Just protest the shit out of them. Don't let them have like one iota of sleep. Because fuck them. Because powerful people can make themselves inaccessible to the public if they really want to. Like they have the money, they have the means, they have the like support staff to make sure that like
That's
they'll
true.
they'll
Very
if they
true.
don't want to see you, they don't have to see you. But then you start talking about people that I actually like and respect. And I'm like, wait, no, they're nice. Don't be mean to them. That's not fair. You shouldn't be able to protest someone's home. That's an inconsistency in my own brain. That's a hypocrisy in my own brain. And
Yeah,
I'm
that
very
makes sense.
aware that I have it. So I don't know what the correct answer is, unless we all agree that the correct answer is you can do whatever you want to Mitch McConnell.
All right, thank you, Jangles. Doomer had a quick response, and we're throw to Chud, and then we're throw to Nefarious. Nefarious,
Wait,
you have another
it
quick
was gonna
response,
be
Nefarious?
it was gonna be me and then that and then him, and I said he could go first.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, what a
I
bad mod.
I was ignoring.
Holy shit.
Sorry.
dude.
So Doomer, and then Chud, and then if I remember Nefarious, when I try again, we'll see
Yeah,
if he
Hans,
like-
if you can do me a favor, anytime Nefarious wants to say anything, just throw it to me first.
Of course, I know
Is-
you're on the
is-
same
is-
wavelength.
is-
No.
Yeah.
You're saying this now. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, so
Wait,
I
please.
have
Let Nefarious, you can go. I'm sorry. I'm picking on
literally
too
just
much.
said literally one
you,
sentence.
Doomer.
Literally
Fuck you,
one
Doomer.
sentence.
Fuck you,
I-
Doomer.
I said-
Okay, no, let him say it. Let him say it. Let him say it. Let him say it.
So all I have to say is freedom of speech has nothing to do with knowing where Ted Cruz lives. These are completely disconnected topics in response to
Okay.
all things. That's it.
I was gonna say, even if freedom of speech was connected to that, your freedom of speech does not trump my right to personal safety. You can talk all this shit behind your fucking computer screen about big like fucking streamers and stuff like that, and even politicians. But you know that if you were in their place, you would also be a little bitch crying about this. Okay, so stop being a fucking larper and live the real world, please. Touch grass.
I will say that I agree with Doomer, but I don't want to because that's like, no, I want to scream at Tucker Carlson. I don't want to like think about it and like whether it's right or wrong because I know the answer. Right? As long as I pretended it's a question, I don't have to like confront it. So fuck you.
Thank you, Jangles. All right, Chud, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say that point about people's income being leaked, and if you don't earn very much, listen, I wasn't in the top 10,000 streamers for earnings, so that initial information that came out, my name wasn't on there, and I know that fucking people looked for me. I know they did. So yeah, bit disappointing, bit embarrassing, but it's okay. Listen, I don't
Everyone
value myself
sub to
based on how
Chud.
much
Give
money I
him
make.
money. Got to get him up in the top 10K.
Yeah,
Everyone's-
listen, get me up into the top 10K, and that will mean more racist memes. So
Oh. Excellent. Anyway, all right, that's a lovely place to end the general. We are going to go to our closing statements for the evening now.
I feel like I missed something. What happened?
Chud just blew up every person who's streaming right now. Count your days because your Twitch lifespan is numbered now.
I love Chud.
He did the racism. Anyway,
Chud is
Doomer,
my hero.
oh my god. Doomer, closing statements. 75 seconds, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I Twitch obviously I think should be a bit more clear about the way things work, but I don't know that they're going to be because they're not incentivized to. I think at the very least there should be some clear rules of very, very obvious boundaries, but I'm not particularly hopeful. And yeah, in terms of the income stuff, I don't know. I just didn't find it very surprising. So yeah.
Thank you, Doomer. All right, Jangles.
All right. So in terms of what was leaked, I think that is for the most part valuable information. It's basically like knowing that like, what was it? Chud, you watched this video. It was like 4% of streamers are making minimum wage. Is that close?
yeah.
Something like that.
No, less than that. It's less than 1%, I believe.
Oh, was it 0.4?
I think it could have been, yeah.
Am I off by a factor of 10? This is why.
Yeah,
Okay,
not very
don't
many.
listen to me. Don't fucking listen to me. Okay, I don't know shit about this. So yeah. Regarding the whole,
Typical.
I would favor more consistency over more nuance. Just in this case, I would like to know where I was at because that way, like, you can like use. There's a lot of ways to get around TOS. All of us know it for good or for bad, but there's ways to like talk about things without actually like breaking the TOS. I would like to be more consistent as a rule. And because I'm a hypocrite, I will obviously, if it ever impacts me or someone I like, I will reverse on that rule. Obviously, I've shown that too. But yeah, I would like to have more consistency with TOS. But if that and if that means like uh, saying that like just because everyone else is talking about it doesn't mean it's okay for you to talk about it on this platform to maintain the consistency in TOS, I think that's better than the alternative.
Thank you, Jangles. Sam.
Yeah, I think that again, I think that there's like interesting topics to be talked about, like the difference between how certain streamers were covering it versus the mass media, and like what is important versus for like our in crowd here on Twitch, and like what we find is important, like what Jangle said versus what investors and markets care about, like the source code being leaked and things like that, and the difference there. And I think there's information to be taken from there. Again, I don't think that these bans are relatively necessary. Leaking information, again, we talked about that there's a what is relative necessary for the public to have as information is something that could be debated, as Jangle said. And it's just a very interesting conversation to have about transparency in these corporations.
Thank you so much, Sam. Chud. Go ahead, buddy.
Hello. Okay, so obviously there was a lot of discourse around streamers and earnings and stuff like that. All I want to say really is very simply, like, streaming is nowhere near as easy as it looks, and it's easy to look at the top streamers and go, "Oh, they just get paid to play video games." That ignores the labor that goes into streaming, and also ignores the fact that the vast majority of people don't earn anywhere near that money. I'm not saying streaming is the hardest thing in the world. But just be a little bit more considerate of the fact that these people are bringing you absolute fuck ton of entertainment that you don't have to pay for up front. And yeah, just be a bit more aware that it can be stressful. There's a lot of issues like my other media role, issues with depression, with the substance abuse, etc. The list goes on. Yeah, it's a bit tougher than it looks. And if you really think it's that easy, give it a go yourself. And I'll look forward to see how you get on. And that's it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chud. And everyone, sub to Chud. Get him over that into the top 10K. He deserves it. Biggs, final thoughts on this.
Are we
Thank
doing
you.
outros too, or no?
Oh, no, we'll do outros in a
Okay,
second.
okay. Yeah.
Stay
so,
focused on the topic.
all right. Yeah. So
Focus, Biggs.
as far as the
Focus,
topic,
SpongeBob.
I love you, Hans.
Focus.
So as far as I can tell, my biggest take of this whole fucking leak is that every single person on this panel, except for myself, obviously, because I'm a fucking loser, I barely stream at all, are not in the top 10%. We need to get all of you to fucking sub and donate to Hans and Lorenzo and Chud and Jangles and Sam, because these people need to move up on this chart list, because I think that, like, they way deserve more than fucking Hassan. Have you guys watched a Hassan stream? It's trash compared to the fucking content that people like Hans and Chud and Jangle and Sam and Nefarious put out there. They are leagues ahead, okay? Chud has more fucking talent in his fucking pinky toe than fucking Hassan Piker does, okay? So we need to fucking get that shit out there. That was my number one take from this whole issue.
Thank you so much, Biggs.
Thank
Also,
you.
apparently, fuck Doomer, right? Like,
Oh, I'm so sorry, he's not a kid, I'm sorry.
Everyone on the panel's great except for Doomer. Fuck that guy.
I'm sorry, I can't see him. He's just a D on the side of my monitor. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Like,
Yeah,
My
y'all,
video-
what the
my
fuck?
video
like,
just sucks,
all we
so it's
see,
fine.
it's like we see the big
No, it
the
doesn't.
face cams, and then there's just a tiny
A little
D.
D.
It could be a person. Yeah, it could be a person.
It could
or
be
like,
anything.
part of the
Hey,
interface.
look,
We
look.
don't know.
Look.
Anyways,
Tiny D.
wait,
Tiny
let me
D
finish,
is
let me finish.
advertising, honestly, it's not about the size of the wave; it's about the motion of the ocean. Okay.
Hell yeah. Anyways, as far all jokes aside, I do think everybody here deserves a sub and deserves a shout, at least a follow. Come on, guys. Fucking these people are amazing. But as far as the topic goes, like, companies need to be responsible. I think the bigger issue here is the fucking leaks that we had. I think that's the issue. We should be talking about the leaks. The fact that people's information is out there is bad news for everybody. As far as like the transparency, we need to have things for transparency as far as their like rules and all that stuff. But like we just need to focus on what we can change and what we can do. And I think that's what we need to focus on. And if we can all work together towards that, towards common acceptance of these discussions and opening up the lines of communication, that's the bigger thing. I want everybody to get more involved. All you guys in the chat, get involved. Come on here. Like Chud said, if you think you can stream, you think it's no big deal, fucking get on here. You don't have to be doing it every day. I do it a few times a week or a month. Like, it's fine. Get out here, get your voices heard. That's what it's all about. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right. And last but certainly not least, Nefarious, thank you so much. We're going to throw it to Doomer. Doomer, closing statement for Nefarious. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nefarious.
Got him. So I see Biggs doesn't seem to be living by his principles, saying people should sub to me, but I don't see him on my sub list. Streaming is pretty hard work. I completely agree. So is content creation of any type. I used to be big on a streaming platform, which I will not say, but I'm built different, so I can kind of like deal with this public pressure stuff like that, which I think most people can't. You probably shouldn't attack politicians. Your freedom of speech doesn't trump my rights to personal safety. The government should probably also intervene somehow in this Twitch, Twitter, basically like alternative media, through either like direct nationalization, a public option, or even dealing with the TOS side of things, the legal side of things, with like a public third party. And leaking info, like even though it's just income, does create a dangerous precedent.
All right. Thank you so much.
And also
All right.
subscribe to
I don't even know who you are.
We're going to throw it back to Nefarious now, so we can do all of our.
What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know who
Nefarious,
you
where can
are.
people find you? And what do you do? Also, DM me what site you were popular on before. I feel like that feels somewhat nefarious. I'm curious now.
Was it
TikTok, but we don't have
Vine?
to tell everyone, okay?
Yeah, it's
Alright.
I could even guess it was TikTok. He just didn't want to say.
Was it
it.
OnlyFans? I was hoping he was OnlyFans.
I thought it was OnlyFans too. I'll be honest. He's a good-looking guy. Like, you know, I was like,
No, it's
wait,
TikTok.
what
It's
OnlyFans
100%.
page?
He should-
Also a minor, Hans.
Like, what?
I'm also a minor.
Oh, fuck that! No, Jesus Christ! No! Oh, fuck that! Oh God, no! Disavow. This is deleted. Everything is gone. Holy shit! Oh my God! Fuck!
Oh no.
Oh God! This is what it ends for me. God! Oh Jesus! All right.
Well,
Kicking him
I'm a
out
minor,
forever.
and it depends what state you live in. Okay.
Oh my God! Get the fuck out of here! All right, no, like.
Wait, I have to plug myself. So you can follow me on Twitch at Nefarious P. You can follow my Twitter, Nef Politics. That's pretty much it. All my other links are there. Fuck you.
Jesus Christ! All right. Yep. No. Anyway,
It's
Biggs.
gonna be a good clip. Holy shit.
Oh,
thank
Jesus
you.
Christ. Nope. Anyone who clips this, you're all banned forever. This is getting scrubbed. This is getting privated immediately afterwards. Oh, my God. All right, go ahead, Biggs. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at Biggs8500 on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Again, thank you so much, Hans, for having me on the panel tonight. I love coming on your panels. They're always fun. They're always a blast. Like, no matter what the topics are, I find myself having just a ball every time. I want to thank everybody on the panel. You guys are all great. It was nice to have another conversation with Jangles like we had last night. I think it was very productive conversations. I think we got a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, give everybody, seriously though, give everybody here a follow, a sub. They're all amazing. Chud, thank you so much for coming out, and I know it's late for you. Nefarious, I don't know if you live in Europe too. I don't know if you do. Okay, thank you so much for staying up
Same
late.
time zone.
Okay, but I love all of you guys, and you're all amazing. Everybody in the chat, you guys are fucking based. Keep up the great work, Hans. You do amazing work, man. Thank you.
Thank you. And also, I'd like to remind everyone that Biggs is the one who said OnlyFans first. So if you're going to cancel someone,
Throw
cancel
me
him.
under the
He
bus!
led
Throw
me
it under
to
the
water,
bus!
all right? That was
Guys,
him.
clip it and skip it. Let's get the show on LSF. Okay?
It's Biggs. Biggs is... Oh my God. All right. Chud, thank you so much for being here. But I think this is the first time you've been on. I really appreciate having you. This is a fucking banger, dude. And I'm happy to chat sometime this week about the lefty and the liberal arc. But dude, where can people find you?
Yeah, so just search for Chad Logic on all good social media platforms, or follow my producer, Irrational Chad, on Twitter. I am the subject of many cancellations, including by Big Tech. So yeah, my producer now is on Twitter, so check me out there. Thanks everyone for the good chat, and thanks for everyone at home for watching. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. All right, Sam, where can people find you, buddy?
Yep. So I stream very rarely on Twitch. If I do stream, it's usually either some kind of technology stream. I study AI and natural language processing as a master's student. I run Twitch Politics Discord, and you can find me on Twitter as well. Is Sam the Human Boy, but the zero, it's a zero instead of an O. And you know, you can find me there making either posting good morning selfies with my face, and you can get some eye candy in the morning, or if you're on the East Coast in the United States, or you could get eye candy whenever you want. And yeah, I mean, everywhere else, you know, you can find me usually on Discord.
Thanks so much, buddy. All right. Jangles. Where can people find you, buddy?
So just saying, if this was one of the most fun panels I've been on. I really, really, really love this panel. I love everyone on it. Thank you. Well, hold on. I don't want to like be publicly like thanking Hans after what just happened. So everyone else
You're
other
all
than
canceled.
Hans. No,
Yeah,
no. I remember I put up that shield at the beginning.
Yeah,
All right,
you
I'm
guys
not
are
gonna
all
actually
amazing. Thank you
continue
for
this
hanging
stuff.
out. It's been a
See, you
blast.
could have learned from me. And
Thank you
yes,
so much. I'm gonna end the
now
stream
here
after
we are.
this and
So
hop into
no, I
Discord.
really, really enjoyed this panel. I hope
So
all of
feel
you did
free to
too.
hop in the Discord.
You can
You
find
guys
me
are
at
all based.
Jangles Science Lad on
Fucking
YouTube.
amazing.
I tried streaming on Twitch. I couldn't cut it. I'm not good at it because it actually does take work, and you should respect anybody who streams on Twitch. It actually is a lot harder than it looks. I just wanted to give a real quick like outro for all the points. I'm just going to recycle them from the hippy dippy. You know, I want to give you my trash, Hans. So comedy is important, and it's good to talk about it. Consistency is important, and it's better to have it than not. And the gays deserve our trash. I'm not going to give you the context of that one or explain it further. Just know that.
Thank you, Jangles. All right. Doomer, everyone, Doomer, where can people find you? I heard you're flailing and falling in sub counts because of your extremely controversial recent video. Where can people find you and to sub to you and watch that video and other amazing videos? Like
Yeah.
you know,
If you want a good laugh, yeah, I'm Doomer Media on YouTube. Watch my 7-minute Chappelle video and then realize that it's the most mild take in the world, and then check the comments and see how butthurt these people are getting. It's actually hilarious. But yeah, Doomer Media on YouTube. I'll be having a video on Django Unchained and Inglorious Bastards soon, and then a video on Hassan. So yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited for the Hassan video. Anyway, thank you all so much. If you like this, please follow me, follow our amazing panelists. Don't cancel me. That was horrible. I'm going to kill you, Nefarious. I fucking and Biggs did this to me. All right, it was a. I'm changing. I'm not longer Sockdem. I'm a
So now
libertarian.
you're gonna kill a minor.
Like-
Okay.
That was a fucking joke. That was a fucking
You
joke.
stole my
All right.
fucking joke. Holy shit.
Oh my god. All right. I don't know what to talk about. All right. Have a great night, everybody. You're all great. We're gonna raid into my friend Stardust and all that sort of stuff.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Everyone.
You're
have a
fucking
great night.
awesome. Thank
all
you.
sorts of stuff. Goodbye. Or wait, everyone get in the raid first. Then we can say goodbye. Get in the raid.
Goodbye.
I beat you. I rated her first.
Oh my
Right.
god. Fuck you, Biggs.
I'm
Biggs,
bouncing,
Biggs,
everyone.
like you know what? I
Have a
could be
great night.
demon mama.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye,
Chad.
Chad. Go to bed.
Let's go,
Yeah, go to bed,
bye-bye.
Chad.
Good night,
I-
Chad.